Spain.
We're getting ready to go, as we know, with the drivers here in the KA 100 Master program. Bailey Murphy on the pole, Phil DeLeo second. Green flag flying, and we're underway. Good 25-lap main event for the drivers here in the 22 laps for the drivers in the KA 100 Master category, getting things underway as they work their way through the opening lap. Good start for Bailey Murphy, doing double duty in both Master and Senior here this weekend. Out of the gate strongly there. See a couple of drivers fighting a little bit further back to get themselves single file as they will once they come through turn 5 and into the S's here for the first time. Had a fantastic battle yesterday with Bailey Murphy. As we know, Phil DeLeo coming away with that victory, and Josh Sarche was right in the middle of that scrap as well. Murphy wanted to get that one more step as the battle continuing. Mario Barrios is the driver who's arrived on the scene here on Sunday, able to get himself into that lead group. Had a fantastic run, number one in qualifying, and then through the pre-final as well to put himself at a great start for this race. And we are now underway. As we said, opening lap of the books, Murphy, Barrios, DeLeo, 1, 2, 3. Pierce Baldus a great start to the day as well, as he was able to get a better starting spot for the main event. Sarche 5th, Ryan Kasner up to 6th, McAllister 7th, had a big run from deep in the field. I think he was 7 up, I believe, in the pre-final to get himself up to a better starting spot. Dan Jones, Jeff Bays, and Chris Mann round out the top 10.
So now as they rocket their way through the infield section, all good so far with a lap and a half underway and an identical start to the pre-final as it is for the final for the top couple. But a much better start here to this main event for Trevor McAllister, who qualified down the board in 16th. He's now well up inside the top 10. Next up will be Ryan Kasner, who has a little gap to him, although T-Max under pressure. That is a nice move there by none other than Dan Jones on the Ron White Racing CRG.
Yeah, Dan is a veteran driver who runs out of the Sonoma Raceway program, does a lot of racing there, top Masters driver. Good pass coming to the inside here. Barrios wants to take it away from Murphy, and he does. Barrios takes over the lead. Murphy sliding into the second spot. DeLeo into third. So the early going here in K100 Master. We've got Xander Clemens back in the booth after he and Caleb were down on pit lane. Some great insight from the drivers there. Obviously, you got kind of the drivers who are pro full-timers. You got a guy like Danny coming back in. Kyle Wick starting his own team up in the Pacific Northwest. He said he doesn't get a lot of time behind the wheel, but some of those, the insight from Danny Formal, I thought was really, really interesting. A guy, full-time sports car racer now, who's just dealing with coming back. You only had to lose a lot of weight for the sports car side. Not helping him that much in a shifter kart.
No, I mean, it's a testament as well, too, and Danny's such a great ambassador, and so cool that he has gotten himself into the position. He's always been a very open and confident person. He's obviously won on just about every chassis brand, which right now it's all OTK up here up front, but Danny's won on these. He's won on everything else you could probably find under the sun, and with that, even before his break that he has absolutely capitalized on to make the career out of racing cars that he has, he was always the first one to be fully open-gutted with you. Yeah, this was why, this is my setup, this is this. And like you said, super cool for him to be as great of an ambassador he is away from the kart track and events, talking up the sport and the physicality and the level that it's at here in the States, and equally for him to be so open after a race like that, where he ends up self-admittedly going, man, we had a P2 car. I could have got a P2 for the team, but I just got tired. I think that is a speak to professionalism and also to, that openness that fans love, and it's a great role model to have on the grid. We're happy to have him.
100% that. In the meantime, we've had 3 different leaders here in KA100 Master. We started talking about Formal. The leader was Barrios. Murphy able to go back up front. Bailey was able to get back to P1, but now it's Phil DeLeo. He's put that number 477 back to the front here as we're just getting things underway. Again, 22-lapper for all the categories but cadet. And indeed, the Masters drivers still running the 22. Oftentimes they run a couple less, but again, doing a great job here out front is DeLeo. Not surprising, winner yesterday. Veteran driver who came back to the sport. You go back to the mid-2000s and ran a lot of the major events, the major series, Stars of Karting. We talked about the Superkarts USA Pro Tour as well near the latter parts of his career. A former tag senior champion on the SKUSA Pro Tour. Came back to the sport, lives in Phoenix, Arizona. So as we know, the PKR track is right there. So he and Hannah Greenmeyer get out there and do a bunch of racing at PKRA together. Hannah's here wrenching on his kart this weekend as well, helping with coaching. And to see him back out front here is just fantastic. And again, right now, he and Bailey Murphy, Xander, trying to pull away a little bit here from Barrios to see if they can't make this a 2-driver fight. They tried to do it yesterday, but Josh Sarche was able to reel them in.
He was. It took a while, and it took a little bit of battling throughout the race to be able to get him close enough. Once he got into the draft, then it was a nice 3-driver fight, but he's much further back today. Mario Barrios and Mike Rullison and Joni Teixeira and the entire RPG contingent have certainly gotten Barrios tuned up here on Sunday. He has made some serious gains and obviously finds himself in between the front 3 from yesterday, albeit losing a little bit of touch with the top 2. This will be 6 laps complete this time, and we go back down to pit lane for more of the aftermath from Pro Shifter. Caleb Vieska, take it away.
Thank you. I'm sitting by here with Marian Kremers, our leader. After lap 1, good jump off the line, Marian, to get yourself to the lead. And again, just fell outside of the top 5 at the end of it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a struggle. I mean, that jump was good, much better than the pre-final. The old guy still has some reaction time sometimes. I led for the first couple of laps, and I saw the lap times were just not quick enough. I tried to take care of the tires, but my lap times were slow, I felt like, so I started pushing more and more and more, and the lap times just didn't go down. I'm not sure where we went wrong today, but we knew it was going to be difficult for us. It was a big unknown going into this final. I haven't done more than 15 laps on this go-kart in one go, so doing 25, we knew we had to do something, and I think we accidentally went a little bit into the wrong direction, and there was a little bit lack of pace for that race, but I'm happy with how the weekend went. We got some good points for the championship, so thinking big picture, I think we're still looking fine. Obviously, I would have liked more in that final, but we'll come back stronger in Cincinnati, I'm sure, and we'll do some testing before, and so we have a little bit more experience going into this weekend.
How good does it feel to be back, finally racing back up at the front?
No, great. I mean, that's what I said to you guys all week. I'm very happy with the package. Happy with the opportunity Carlos gave to me and the power we've got. Put it on the front row. We were there all weekend and led some laps. So we're looking good. We just need some experience in setting up everything, and I need to get in a little bit better shape as well, because that 25 lap long final was a killer. I mean, I haven't done that in a little while. Even the races back in Europe, I would usually end up with a broken engine on the side of the road somewhere after 10 laps. So to do a full lap, 25 lap final in this heat, it was a killer, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Martin. Good to say that. We'll officially see you soon. Thank you, Martin.
All right, see you guys soon. Thank you.
Marian Kremers, what another great ambassador as well, and funny to have a tongue-in-cheek moment there as well. Obviously, his last 2-year stint with the Tony Kart Factory team, it was a struggle. So even a 7th, I'm sure in that mindset would have felt amazing. But when you have the performance like he had to be on the front row here for the start of the main event, to be as good as he was throughout the entirety of this weekend, to end up off the podium probably is a bit bittersweet.
Well, you see a couple of guys come in here with maybe the opportunity to get a little bit better, not just with their karts, but with their physicality as well. Denny Formel talked about the fact that he's been, of course, focused on the sports car. Much different driving requirements in terms of the physical side than it is driving a 125 shifter kart in 90-degree temperature at a track like this in Tucson. Same goes with Kremers we just spoke with, hasn't been in the seat that long. And he said he's driven 15-lap stints on the thing. Then you throw him into 25. Hey, you wanted them to do 28. They would have been burned out completely if they had 3 to go.
Well, I don't know if it would have made a difference in that one, but certainly.
Physically.
But I will say at the same point, right, we saw a little bit of that. Talking with Kyle Wick about it, he mentioned, he's like, I asked him, I was like, by the minutes, if you compare lap times of this to, say, MCC, we've done 25 or 22. Newcastle, we've done 25 or 22. This one was a couple minutes shorter. Did it feel long? He said, yeah, you really don't get a lot of straightaways to breathe. Newcastle, he's like, I can do 22, 25 easy. MCC a little tougher. That's a minute lap time circuit to be in the 47s lap after lap. But even still, with a couple laps shy of what would have been, say, a 28-lapper head-to-head, we saw that inkling there in the fight for second, third, and fourth, right? Irwin's rear tires gone, and just that level of both the fatigue on the drivers and the fatigue on the Avinco tires as well is what provided so many barn burner finishes for us. We didn't get one today, and sometimes that's what happens, right? We saw it at the Super Nationals. Sometimes you just watch a display of excellence. First was Senna Van Wallstein taking that Sodi from 17th to the win under the lights in Vegas, and here Mateus Morgado putting on a masterclass as well.
Well, and I mentioned it, and Adrian Rendon mentioned it as well. What a Q1 for Sodi Racing, right?
Oh, yeah.
WSK, Supermaster, Van Wallstein again, I think another title. Those guys were winning races over there in the KZ categories that come here and get it started as well. Sodi Kart has got a program going for the 125 program.
Certainly. Now, in KA Master, while we were away, in terms of an update on the storylines building here, it has started to look a little bit like yesterday, but in a different kind of lens, if you will. Phil DeLeo has actually begun to pull just a bit of a gap over Bailey Murphy here in the heat of the afternoon. Josh Sarche did get the better of Mario Barrios. We saw that in the side-by-side wall with Kremers. That was for third. This is the battle back here all the way for the 10th spot, kind of the closest grouping of drivers. Josh Daly on the Nash Motorsports, that blue and chrome machine. They're just behind these two right here, and that is right behind him on the Axis Kart. Actually, he's up to 9th. That was a pass made on Jeffrey Bays in the Axis Kart Sport black and red. Scott Falcone in the blue and yellow and white BJR livery. And then right at the back of it's Trevor McAllister, who got all the way up and into about, I thought he got all the way up to 6th there on the opening lap, and he has since faded back a little ways on his own Arcane Motorsports T-Mac powered engine machine to the 12th spot. But a calmness has certainly rolled in over the KA Masters division compared to their main event yesterday. That was a one-on-one fight that turned into a three-way battle to the end. It's been a Phil DeLeo show so far, and we've got our action and our spotlight here further back to try and find some activity. Falcone with a nice pass.
Yeah, Falcone able to get by Jeff Bays to make his move up into the top 10. Now he'll try to catch up to Daly. Daly, again, same thing. He's got now the eyes on Chris Mann and Dan Jones. Those are the drivers there running in the 7th and 8th spots. So the big gap right now, Kasner back to Mann, so it's really about 5 seconds separating the top 6 drivers and 5.2 seconds back from Kasner back to Mann as well. So great battling further back, 7 on back, but the top 6 drivers 5 seconds apart, a full second lead almost now for DeLeo out front.
Last time by was the first time we saw any inroads on the gap for him, by the way. Bailey Murphy did just barely pip him at a 53.91, but he will need a lot more laps like that one to be able to bridge that gap back close again. Otherwise, again, we'll probably be hanging back here or at least around the middle of the top 10 to the end of the race. Phil DeLeo, there he is in the 477. The lead, again, just shy of 9/10 as measured last time by the timing loop. This lap will be the big question mark, I think. You can see how much the track has truly developed, and what's been interesting too, and I think Billy Musgrave is one of the best ones to talk to about this. I've really enjoyed asking and picking his brain about the tire compound and the track evolution everywhere that we go. Even after the Summer Nationals last year, we were taking him on his media tour as the champ to you guys, to us, and all that comes with getting the #1 plate on the Pro Tour. We were admiring that glossy kind of look to the surface and the groove at Newcastle Motorsports Park that he was kind of waiting on all weekend to develop, and it didn't happen until Sunday afternoon, honestly, after they were done, after all the activity was done. And I feel like we're starting to see that a little bit here, where while at first it was still darkness like normal on a circuit with the rubber buildup, you can see that the groove is certainly lightening up now as we've added more layers. And look how, again, not only is it clean, but it is far from the darker edges of the S's and a very lighter complexion of the pavement now at this point on Sunday afternoon. Plus now, it was a nice and cool morning. After going out there with my jacket on, Rob, I can tell you it is certainly warming up outside. We are getting to the heat and the high temperatures that we had experienced early in the week, and it is going to absolutely bake this surface over the course of the rest of the main events.
We are stacking things up now behind Chris Mann. This is this battle we're watching for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Back to Trevor McAllister as well. Scott Falcone right there. Here's that move. Look at this.
Ooh.
Joshua Daly.
2 for 1.
Big move to the bottom in turn number 1. Yeah, he'll come out of here with P7.
I don't know about working together there, Josh. I mean, you can tap the helmet all you want. You guys are about 6 seconds behind Ryan Kastner in P6. And with not a lot of laps left here to run to the end of this one, this is probably all she wrote for the battles today here in KA100 Master, at least for these guys. And if we look back up front, there was another inch cut off the gap over the last 2 laps by Bailey Murphy. He is clawing his way into the drafting window of Phil DeLeo, who's just barely fading, just the smallest bit. It's going to be a matter of willpower over this 22-lapper. And I got to think that compared to yesterday, where those two were kind of playing off each other, the race probably is going by a lot slower in Phil DeLeo's perspective here today, because he has gotten the lead. He knows that he's going to have to keep that pace up, but last time by, he faltered again, and you see the gap. It went down from 0.8 to 0.7, just shy of it at 0.698, so we might have a late race charge blooming.
Yeah, that was actually a full 10th this time for Bailey. Last couple laps, it's been a couple of hundredths of a second, right? That was a full 10th of a second quicker than DeLeo on that last lap, down to 7/10 of a second. There are 6 laps remaining, working lap number 17 of 22, so 6 to go. Here comes a move potentially for Falcone. Falcone working to get by Dan Jones. I think he got the job done, so there's Jones trying to get in on him there, a little bit loose coming through the S's. He actually may even lose a spot to Jeff Bays, but Falcone now up into the 9th spot. Put him right on the bumper now of Chris Mann.
And I think there, all the Masters drivers further back, you're starting to see them fade a little bit. I'm sure the heat's got to be getting to them. If it was getting to the pros over 25, it's probably getting to these guys here over 22. Working lap 18, Falcone marching forward.
Big move to the inside again, Falcone. And I give it to Scott. He's lost a bunch of weight, or has lost a bunch of weight over the last couple of years. Dove back in. Again, this is the driver who's been, when we were here in 2013, was running in the Tag Master category. He's a Superkarts USA Pro Tour Tag Master champion. Kind of was away from the sport for a little bit, dove back in. I raced with him at the CKNA Grand Nationals. He runs as much stuff as he possibly could. We talked a little bit earlier today about the idea of the concept of the Supermasters, class within a class kind of thing for the drivers 45 years of age and older. Scott's kind of the forefront of that, trying to bring all the guys that you used to race with back to the track and give them a chance to have some fun racing. It's essentially in a group but racing with themselves. But yeah, all in back on the karting program, and has been doing a tremendous job and pushing hard to try to see if he can get himself into the top 7, currently running up in now that 8th position.
And to his credit, lap time wise, I mean, he's not terribly far off the leaders. He's about matching or at least close to it, the likes of Josh Sarche. He's faster than Barrios up the road in 4th, who is slipping backwards, as is Pierce Baldus, also starting to fade off pace-wise. Baldus could get caught by Ryan Kastner before it's said and done, but the gap continues to shrink up front with 4 laps to go, down to half a second. Bailey Murphy continues to just go at it and chip away at the margin for Phil DeLeo. Yesterday, DeLeo able to reign victorious, Rob. It was a head-to-head fight, but for most of the race, it was like that. It seems like if it were a 20-lapper, it'd be another Rob Howden calling Phil DeLeo to the checkered flag throwback moment here at Musselman Honda Circuit. But no, it is Bailey Murphy continuing. That was another 10th forward. 3 laps to go. Falcone's march continues as well in the midfield, looking to get 7th before it's all said and done, away from the hands of Josh Daly.
Yeah, Falcone's doing a great job here right now, closing up every lap, every corner, feels like. He's right there now. Sticking on this battle here for 7th. We're going to have to pick up that lead fight sooner or later, working lap number 20. So, working lap 20, so only a couple laps still to go here. And indeed, Falcone's been the man on the move. There we go, back to the lead. Remember that 8 or 9/10 of a second lead? How about a half a kart length? We got ourselves a battle. Bailey Murphy's been here before. He pushed DeLeo big time in race number 1. He is ready to battle out here in round number 2.
DeLeo covering a little bit. First bit of kind of nerve tire into clean air, but he rinses out in turn number 9.
Did not get a good run through turn number 8. You got to see him get into the curbing a little bit. White flag's going to fly this time by. Big move around the outside. Thinking about the over-under. And again, he's been 0.2 of a second quicker lap over the last handful of laps. There's the white flag flying here, I believe. There it is.
1 to go. He's still charging to the outside. He's going to play a game of chicken on the brakes. Will he hold it? Oh, just barely rinses out to the outside edge of the track. DeLeo holds into the chicane for the final time. Bailey Murphy, what can you do to spook a multi-time race winner who is back again at the spotlight of the national stage in Masters? Crossover out of turn 4. They're going to drag race into turn 5, Rob.
Great stuff. Let's see if he can go around the outside. Here goes the big run around the outside. Not quite enough. He's going to have to get cleanly through the S's here. He struggled over in turn number 8. Going to watch those curbs. Can he get through this corner cleanly? He does. Big wide run out to the outside. Pinch down to the bottom for DeLeo. Here comes Murphy. DeLeo to the bottom. Murphy's going to have to go wide. Keep him pinched down. Around the outside for Murphy. They're going to go side by side. Murphy will send it up the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite enough. And DeLeo goes back-to-back jacks. He wins again in KA Master.
Phil DeLeo, a clean sweep of the mains in KA Master. Here's checking back in on that battle for 7th. Daly will hold over Scott Falcone, and that will end them inside the top 10 comfortably. Christopher Mann, Jeffrey Bays, 9th and 10th respectively. Josh Sargent once again will find himself on the box. A quiet ending to his final here on Sunday in 3rd. Barrios 4th. Pierce Baldus hangs on over Ryan Kastner for the top 5 in 5th.
So close for Bailey Murphy. He tried it, didn't he? I thought he might send it up the inside because he came around the outside. He had DeLeo pinched a little bit on the exit of 11. Probably could have sent it up the inside, but that's not really a Masters move to a certain extent. So low percentage to try to get up the inside like that and then be able to get it turned around the corner. Otherwise, a fantastic drive. And I like to see that. We watched them go side by side in the pre-final as well. 2 inches apart through that corner. Zero contact at all. Exactly the same podium as yesterday, DeLeo, Murphy, and Sarche.
And a clean one. Mark that one once again. KA Masters, they've proven no pushbacks needed. A clean race, start to finish. Coolest part of it all, the only 2 DNFs, Tim Meyer and Kyle Piepenbrock, and I don't believe they were near each other when they went out. I think it may have been mechanicals in both instances around midway through. So a clean run for them. 2 karts to clear from the racetrack. Otherwise, 16 or 18 in KA Master all make it. No contact needed. Clean run, start to finish. Healthy and sight for sore eyes indeed when it comes to the SKUSA Pro Tour and the SKUSA Winter Nationals. But they won't be as calm as that. Hopefully we get some close runs at the end for the next mains. Headed your way. Action continues from Tucson. Here for the Winter Nationals on Kart Chaser.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
KA Junior has been released onto the racetrack. Main event number 3 for Sunday. It's their second round of the season on tap. Hurricane Travis Pettit, your winner from the pre-final over Ashton Woon. The top 2 from X30 Junior yesterday as well. Nico Katowski, top qualifier on row 2. Colton Schniegenberg. And onward we go as they round the final turn. And we got contact in the middle as well. Some chaos as they try to form up and all fight for clean real estate here, Rob.
Yesterday's winner, Nico Abezo, starting in the 6th spot outside of row number 3. Field now set, looking to the go green, and we're at it. Green, green, green for the drivers here in KA 100 Junior. This run down into turn 1.
One driver shuffled a little wide, looked to be Colton Schniegenberg in the white and red RPM machine. He'll slot in line okay. Nathan Ramirez 4 wide on the bottom end of the chicane. This will get tight right here, boys. Hang on. Into turn number 4 for the first time. Pettit with a big getaway. In fact, second got away nicely as well there. That was Nico Katowski. It's Ashton Woon under heavy fire. Santiago Orioli looming. There's Alex Chandler in the mix. Nathan Ramirez in that easy to spot gold Team Kartnik entry, but Schniegenberg back from the second row a little ways.
Yeah, Woon was the first driver in the order to go defensive down into turn number 4. That's why the gap has developed right there with Pettit and Katowski out front. Woon still holding the spot. Orbezo looks to the inside as well, as does the 827 right there of Schniegenberg. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. So, indeed, here's your opening lap in the books. They come around. Pettit, Katowski, Woon. Santiago Orioli up 3 spots. Great start for Orioli. A spot for Orbezo as well. So, everybody kind of settling in here. That's your top 5. Other movers further back. Everybody about 2 to 4 spots deeper in the field. Braden Wagner up 4 positions as well.
So Braden Wagner on that GFC, great run in the works yesterday, almost ended up with the race win. He is trying to charge from way back to get a shot at it today. He needs Nico Katowski, Travis Pettit to battle, or for this pack to run up to him. Maybe Nico Orbezo, yesterday's winner's got something to say about it. Already up to 4th and digging still with another spot gained this lap. He's now got Ashton Woon that might be able to bridge the gap to the leaders. Otherwise, Nico Katowski, doing everything he's doing currently, could try to break away and really make this a 2-horse race up front.
Yeah, it looks like all the makings of a 2-driver breakaway as long as Katowski wants to work with Travis Pettit. Woon is there, but significantly back. Half a second, just potentially outside of that draft window as they come down that back straightaway. Whether Woon runs those open laps, he's got Orbezo coming, as is Orioli's there as well, right? Schniegenberg, Murphy, Johnson, all there too. So, indeed, it's all about running clean open laps, not worrying too much about those behind you. Woon is in a good position, but if Orbezo starts getting challenged, that could allow the top 3 to get away.
Indeed, Nico Orbezo, last lap looked like he was closing to Ashton Woon. This lap, if anything, he lost a little bit, and his driver behind, he's going to lose his wingman for the next straightaway. Orioli loses out. Nice pass there by Colton Schniegenberg and Tristan Murphy to kind of tag team up a little bit on the Sodi driver. Murphy gets the spot in 11. Schniegenberg will get it in turn number 1, and next up will be Cameron Johnson to bring the fight to Orioli. But the lap before went the way of Ashton Woon. This one did as well, but he didn't get out of turn 1 all too good, and the gap still holds at just over probably what that last bit of the draft that would really tow him along needs to be, and that's, I would guess, around half a second based on what we just witnessed in KA Master.
Ashton Woon set the fastest lap. That lap the lap before was Murphy. He used that to make that move to the inside of turn number 11 to get a spot early. So, again, these drivers up front realizing the field's starting to stretch out. Now you can go to work and look forward. You see the gap there back, I want to say maybe 8 on back. What's the biggest gap? Yeah, 8th back to 9th. So Cameron Johnson to Tyron Scott. 1.7 seconds. So the top 8 drivers of the lead group. Tyron Scott's got Nathan Goldsmith with him. Then another big gap after them as well. But here's the 2-driver breakaway, Xander. Are we going to see Travis Pettit and Nico Kwiatkowski make it just a mano-a-mano fight?
It could be. I mean, they are doing everything that it takes to make that happen. It really comes down to what happens back here. Big diver way down low for Nico Orbezo. That gives him third. And now the real test is going to be taken on. That probably brought the gap to about a full second now. So it's all on the Iron Rock driver to link up the two groups.
Yeah, 2 very fast drivers as well, Orbezo and Woon together. Woon doesn't seem to have the outright pace right now to be up front, but whether those tires come in over a 22-lap distance, how low did they go on tire pressures? Does this thing come alive before it's all said and done? Because right now, he's locking in behind Orbezo. We'll keep watching to see who starts turning fastest laps as they come across the line. Last lap was Colton Schniegenberg. He was the driver out front in terms of pace. Did a 52.617. Backed it up with a 52.7. So good lap times for Schniegenberg. Got a half a second on Orioli. He's part of that battle with Murphy. Not so much battle as teammates. They can work together. Here is a battle. Jet Whipple, the 871 involved. There's a couple of drivers getting together, trying to get these karts separated here as the yellow flag may need to come out in that corner.
Yeah, that could. They've got enough time. I think we should be okay with how long they've got.
I think that might have been Hudson Thomas with him, Xander.
Okay, so there we go. We'll wait and see when they hit the pylon this time. It doesn't look like he was running all too well, unfortunately, back down in 27th. Now yellow's indeed still waving down at turn number 1. We'll have to wait for the rest of the field to cycle on by. See if we can confirm who it was involved. Aaron Spears is falling down the leaderboard. I believe Spears must have been the other one involved, if not the one involved there in the 815 machine.
No, Hudson Thomas falling to the bottom as well, looks like. I think Thomas and Whipple were involved. Aaron Spears maybe in a separate incident.
Oh, no, you're right. Indeed. Good catch. Yeah, Hudson Thomas, Jet Whipple, they were battling the mid-20s. Aaron Spears on the Nash Motorsports entry. 28th now will be the score for Aaron after running inside the top half of the field. Nico Orbezo even on lap times that time around, and Nico Kwiatkowski and Travis Pettit. Did he have to start too far back to be able to get to them? Because the gap is 1.1 seconds. This will be a grudge match in terms of lap times back and forth amongst the leaders as we cross the line down to turn number 1. Lap number 7 completed now as they roll through the corner.
First, second, and third all laying down 52.5s. Woon 52.6, Murphy 52.6, Schniegenberg and Orioli 52.6, Cameron Johnson 52.9. So indeed, we're looking at a potential for just the top 6, top 7 to pull away. Woon was good out of the gate. Just doesn't seem to have the pace to run up front. He did a 52.666, about a 10th off. Orbezo's still up on it. And he's not even getting any help in front. If Pettit and Kwiatkowski were battling together at all, maybe he could fight his way forward. Again, it's very early still. We're working lap number 8. But right now, Pettit and Kwiatkowski nose to tail. In fact, Kwiatkowski at times not close enough even to make an overtake. Now looking pretty good. Over the shoulder look. Don't need to try anything yet. 3 pairings, Xander in the top 3. Pettit and Kwiatkowski, Orbezo and Woon, Murphy and Schniegenberg.
So dead knots even that time, trading back and forth laps here from a 5.16 to a 5.77 the lap before in the low 6s. Nico Orbezo, I mean, he can see it that when he's able to hit his marks, when he's inch perfect, that he is as good as the top 2. Now Ashton Woon, as we approach halfway, is a little closer to him than the top 2 are. Travis Pettit's actually starting to drop Nico Kwiatkowski as we watch the gaps on the left side and equally visually. About a full car length separation down the backstretch. Now, Woon couldn't quite get to Orbezo either, but still, that separation is going to hurt the momentum they were making, and that'll be a full 10th improvement for Nico Orbezo. So that's exactly what we need out of Nico to be able to bring the fight up to the next Nico and Travis Pettit and company. Tristan Murphy and Colton Schniegenberg, they got to keep at it. And their hopes ride here with the 2 in front of them, arriving at the leaders, triggering a battle, and going from there. When we look down the rest of the leaderboard too, we're only just now starting to see any bit of hard charging movements. We talked about Braden Wagner. He's buried a good ways back in the midfield, currently 14th in the yellow helmet on the black and white GFC. He's back about 10 seconds from the leaders, but he is now at the front of a group that is trying to run down the likes of Kai Park, Clayton Stiles, Alex Chandler. I mean, they've all strung out pretty evenly there, as you can see at the top of the screen, so you're not missing too much, but we'll keep a tab on the progress of what he is doing and how far up the leaderboard he can charge.
Watching these gaps again. 0.8 of a second between Katowski and Orbezo. 8:04 was the gap there. Although Orbezo had another great lap, turned down a 56.682, quicker than both the leaders by over a tenth. So Orbezo's doing a good job. Wound is right there with him. He hasn't tried to make any moves yet, hasn't tried to put the pressure on, because if he does, it's over. If he starts fighting with Orbezo, they're battling for third. In fact, if they start fighting with Orbezo, they're going to have to deal with the drivers behind them as well, Murphy and Schniegenberg, because they are right there, just off the screen. You can see them coming through. So this is one of these karting events where you don't really watch the battling on the racetrack and nothing's happening. You're literally watching the stopwatch. You're watching live timing just to see where the splits are, where people are getting closer. You don't see it potentially on the racetrack, but that 1/10 of a second or 1/10 of a second, Xander, we know how it adds up. You just keep doing that, 2/10 here, 2/10 there, and all of a sudden you get that draft you need. They start battling, and you're right on top of them.
Just a little bit more here at this point, Rob, and then we'll really have our hands full and our voices tested, because Nico Orbezo, once he gets to within about 0.6 of the back of Nico Katowski and Travis Pettit, who have now traded the lead, which this will probably do it. This will be the last bit that he needed. He just needed one lead change, and he and Ashton Woon continue to improve on the pace, now down to a full 52.50. Meatball flag given that time to clear the lap traffic. That was Jet Whipple in the 871. They'll pull him into the pit lane. That'll leave us with 27 still rolling on the racetrack. Back to Charlie Marone in the 8:05. 11 down, now 12. 10 laps to go. Nico Katowski, the top qualifier, trying to go back and win on a day where he qualified on the pole, just as he was able to double up back at the Winter Series in Texas. Could he get a Pro Tour win at the event last year that saw his first career Pro Tour podium here in Speed Sports Racing Park? Travis Pettit to try and have a banner weekend, another feather in the cap as it continues to build towards a massive championship haul in the points before Cincinnati. Or could Ashton Woon bring the upset, get to the top step? Could Nico Orbezo do the unthinkable and double up amongst a stacked crowd, where he probably entered this weekend, Rob, as a preview on the entry list, as a maybe an outside shot, a serious contender, but not the odds-on favorite, because that would have to go with the performances and the recency bias to Pettit and Woon. But of course, Orbezo, our winner yesterday, is continuing to bridge this gap.
Yeah, talking about Orbezo winning the February EKN Driver of the Month, having wins in both the SKUSA Winter Series and the Florida Winter Tour. So the victories were there, but indeed you would have talked about a Travis Pettit or a Nico Katowski. No doubt about it, Ashton Woon as well. He is the purple driver right now. That's the thing. We talked about the fact that maybe he didn't have the pace. Is that kart just starting to come alive right now? That 8:55 or 8:95, because Woon, fastest driver on the racetrack, all of them turning 52.6s, or Orbezo actually at 52.5. So close to making it a four-driver battle.
Almost there. I'd mark it there just about now. One car length away. One more good shove down this straight. One more down the front straight. Here we go. Four together, and again, if you're Tristan Murphy, if you're Colton Schniegenberg, now is the time to really dig in deep, because you know it's going to get dicey up here. Pettit back to the lead into turn number one, right as Orbezo arrives on the scene to bring the pressure to Katowski. Perfectly timed if they begin to fight here into four, to have Katowski with a bit dirtier tires. And here we go, Orbezo wants it, big slider, 2 for 1, it's going to get crossed up. It'll be a drag race into 5. Can he hold it? Little help from Nico Katowski, and the Nicos go to 1 and 2.
And here come the RPM duo of Murphy and Schniegenberg. I said they were ready to go, right off the tail as well. Orbezo has gone back to the lead. Katowski into second, Woon third. Pettit, who led less than 0.8 of a mile ago, now finds himself back in fourth position. Katowski looking to get away by Orbezo. Lap still winding down. They'll put lap 15 in the books. 7 laps remaining for KA100 Junior. Category brought to you by TKG Barrel Art. And they put one of those barrel arts out front. Katowski takes over the lead from Orbezo.
Nico Orbezo high and wide into 2, now with a run out of 3. Katowski continuing to park it. This is going to bring the gaps down tremendously. Santiago Orioli's in no man's land right now, but he's only 2.5 seconds away from this scrum up front. 6 deep. We could add some more in no time because this is very early, Rob, to be this racy. But again, it has all been building. All the drivers, 3rd through 6th, have been waiting the entirety of this main to get up to the front two and to bring the fight to them. And now here we go. Nico Orbezo wants the lead with help and a shove and a half. And look at Tristan Murphy. He did it yesterday. He'll do it again to the outside and picks up 3 of them into P2.
The over-under did not work for Katowski. Thought about going wide, but he tucked back in. Everybody was already there. In fact, he's gone back to at least 6th position here now. Schniegenberg and Murphy, the 2 drivers that looked like they were out of it. That 3rd group of 2 further back were just biding their time. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes the 8, number 27 of Schniegenberg. He'll block a little bit because he's got Katowski there. Orioli, you talked about him. Guess where he is? Right there in P7. 7-driver battle up front right now. Orioli gets a second life. You get a chance to potentially work his way back to the podium or even a win. You never know how things are going to shake out over the last couple of laps. It'll be 5 to go when they get back. It's the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart of Orbezo out front. The 8-11 of Murphy seemingly out of nowhere to find himself up into the 2nd position. The laps winding down. Handful to go.
And you can see in the distance, Nathan Golset, the SKUSA Winter Series champ. He's never won a national race before. The only win he's got to his name was in the All-Star event at the Miami Grands last year. He's now a champion without a main event victory. And he can see the fight for the lead beginning to really explode in front of him. Pettit with a move there. It did not pan out. That was a smart play to jam on the brakes, but now he's caused a bit of a gap from himself up to Schniegenberg. Still 7 of them, though, loosely tied. 2 more on the way. They're in Golset and Cameron Johnson as well in his first full year with Dash Motorsports, his first full year in the junior ranks, trying to potentially get a podium here on the opening weekend of the regular season.
Orbezo back through 11 and 12. He is setting a very strong pace out front. Everybody now starts thinking about where they need to be. It's not just about outright pace right now. You remember, Murphy and Schniegenberg were just back working together, pushing, trying to make sure that they were there when the opportunity arose. When they started the battle, they'd be able to close up. But now once they've got there, it's not about that anymore. Now it's about planning your strategy. There goes a move to the inside. Book it. That is a lead for Tristan Murphy to the inside of turn number 4. He'll take it away. Woon goes into 3rd. Woon 3rd, Schniegenberg 4th.
Orioli went way off there coming out of turn number 5. He just lost touch with everybody. Now he'll be fed to the wolves. That is Golset and Johnson. All the hard work and the waiting for Santiago Orioli. One mistake there at a time where he could not afford it because we're coming to 3 laps to go. The saving grace is there's still 6 of them all duking it out up front. Tristan Murphy, it's been a long time since he's been able to be in this spot, leading to the end here and potentially able to get a fight behind him to make this an easy win to the checkers. Side by side for 2nd, now for 3rd. Woon breaking through, Schniegenberg into 3rd.
I was just going to say, look at the drivers who led for the majority of the time there. Pettit and Nico Katowski, they're at the tail of this group now, all the way back currently in the 5th and 6th positions. It's the drivers who are biding their time further back that are now up front. Ashton Woom, who I wondered if he had the outright pace, late race pace to be there, finds himself up into 2nd position now. He is right behind Murphy. They've in fact got a little bit of a gap to Orbezo. Let's see if Woon plays it smart here. Down to the bottom of the race. Woon can see it. We've got room. Don't defend to the inside. Woon's going to go around the outside to take the lead. Defense for Murphy doesn't give him a good run through turn 11. Xander Woon's going to lead with 2 to go.
That's how you do it, Bailey Murphy. He tried to be a little bit nicer to Phil DeLeo. Ashton Woon was full commit there into the last turn. Full commit in turn 1 as well. Nice over-under from Travis Pettit. That'll put him back to 5th. 2 to go. You can see the 8th and 9th are bearing down on the leaders. Here they are, and they're all fanned out. Every inch of the asphalt here at Musselman Honda Circuit getting used and abused. Ashton Woon taking them into the dirt and the dust through into turn 5. Orbezo ripping the high side to get up to 3rd.
I don't care where you are around this racetrack. Get out to the fence right now. This is the final lap coming here for the drivers in the KA 100 Junior category. Woon leads the way. but can he hold back the Lions? It's 9 drivers in the group. Woon to the bottom of the racetrack. Who's going to go wide? First driver is Pettit. He'll bring Orioli with him. Clean through. Big run around the outside for Pettit. Does he come out with P3? He does.
Oh, Orbezo into the dirt, hand in the air. Frustration as a roar erupts in the crowd there. And a mixed emotion moment. And there's Katowski. Fed a wheel and a half, and around he goes.
Oh, and he may get hung up there. High center on the outside of the racetrack. Back to the front here now. The battle's underway. Murphy to the bottom. Here comes Woon to the inside. He's able to chip him off. Up to third comes Pettit again. Pettit may get second coming around here. Final lap. Woon to the bottom of the racetrack.
Pettit's trying to keep it on the grip here on the outside. He's going to have a nose at second. He will get second into the S's. He's still got a good run at Woon. This one's not done yet. Out of turn 9 for the final time. Ashton Woon was second fiddle to Travis Pettit yesterday afternoon. He does not want to be that today. Pettit low. He's going to fake out high. Deep run around the outside. Woon runs him wide. Pettit into the dirt. Murphy with a run, but Ashton Woon wins in KA Junior.
Oh, chaos erupts on the final corners.
Gulseth to third.
You're kidding me. He was back in 9th at the end of that lap. Gulseth finds himself up there, and he is celebrating in a big way. Woon is as well. Ashton Woon holding back an outside run for Travis Pettit through turn number 11 and 12. Did not give it up. Gulseth somehow slides through to put 2 Speed Concepts racing drivers on the podium. Pettit or Bezo, 4th and 5th. Johnson, Chandler, Orioli, Schniegenberg, and Scott.
Tough one to swallow for Travis Pettit, but he and Ashton Woon were in a game of chicken on the brakes. Neither one willing to give an inch. That's all you can ask out of your driver, to go out there and fight to your last breath, to the last inch of asphalt, and Ashton Woon is able to reign victorious in KA Junior. Tristan Murphy, a phenomenal weekend performance of consistent runs. He'll end with the reward in second. Gulseth on the podium, stealing 6 spots on the final lap. Pettit 4th, or Bezo 5th.
Xander, it tells you right there, you could be running 4th. You may not think you have the kart to win if you're in the right spot at the end, because just where Woon was. I didn't think he had the pace. At the end, though, when things started getting exciting, it's not so much about straight outright pace. It's about being there and knowing how to fight, serious dogfight style. There he is, Ashton Woon coming away with the win.
So Ashton Woon ends up as the winner here, and this is going to do numbers in terms of what the championship now is going to potentially play out to be coming out of Musselman Honda Circuit. Nico Orbezo with a top 5 result right there, but Ashton Woon most notably fast lap honors in the main event as well. Huge stuff for him. A lot to break down out of this final running order as well. So let's go down to pit lane here with Caleb.
Yeah, Ashton, very serious earlier on today. Finally, a smile on your face. Talk to me about that move around the outside to get the win there.
Really thought, or really had to focus and really had to stay on my line to get up to the front because I knew Nico was fast and I really wanted to push him up there. And at the end, I knew I just needed to battle and do as best as I could.
Who'd you like to thank? Who's made it possible for you here in KA Junior?
I think my mom, my dad, all my family that's here behind me, and all my sponsors, Speed Concepts, Mario for giving me a great engine, and that's it.
We'll go celebrate with your family, Ashton. One more for you on the day. We'll see you later.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's a look as well. We were talking about the finishing running order. Here's a look at how much the points have tightened. Look at this. Travis Pettit and Nico Orbezo, and the way that last lap shook out, and Ashton Woon getting the 10-point bonus for the fast lap of the race as they finished on screen. This will be a tie headed into Cincinnati. 3 points back for Ashton Woon, and then a big gap back to Schniegenberg, Johnson, Gulseth, Braden Wagner, Alex Chandler, Tristan Murphy, and Sebastian Hauser. That is close from rounds 1 and 2, Rob.
Listen, that kind of blew things wide open. That last couple of laps, Nathan Gulseth coming up to what he did brought him big time up into the 6th position. But yeah, I figured things were kind of locked down midway through. But again, this racetrack, I kept saying it from the very beginning. I harped on it. The minute the guys start going defensive, it brings everybody back into the fight. And Goldseth is a kid that can say, listen, you never give up on a race because you never know what's going to happen in the last couple laps.
Well, it goes from KA Junior, of course, over to the Micros. The youngest superstars now have a lot to live up to following that finish. Crazy stuff here in KA Junior. In the first half of the race, extremely tame, of course, but that last lap, that last corner, last-ditch effort move for Ashton Woon and Travis Pettit fighting for the win, open the floodgates for the whole top 9 to just get shuffled and scrambled and end up with Nathan Golseth second. And how about Tristan Murphy as well here? Phenomenal performance through this Sunday run. He's a bit further back on the pre-drop standings, but of course, today a much better start, or much better end as well. That will put him in a great spot to fight moving into rounds 3 and 4 in Ohio. Round 2 now on tap for the Micro Slip presented by Grupo Santana Vega. Here's what's all coming your way next, folks. They're on track right now as we begin to get going with main events to close out the afternoon. 4 more classes will follow, and they should all be exceptional. KA Senior 47 strong. X30 Junior was a one-on-one match yesterday, but if it's like what we saw in KA Junior, that could end today. And then, of course, following them, Mini Swift, and then the big dogs. Pro X30 will be ready to eat with 47 of them going at it for 22 laps. Only 20 laps here for the Micros, so a slightly shorter distance for their main. Trey Sanders looking for a big-time win. He starts alongside Andres Marcelo Pena, Tristan Francisco yesterday. Bo Wyatt wants redemption, ended up on the podium in third, but he crossed the line more than 5 seconds in front of the field with the provisional win. Could redemption be his here today? Let's find out. 20 laps, and we're green in Micro Swift, and there's a lot of jockeying further back.
Yeah, one of the drivers completely jumping into the inside line there. Tram line violation for certain. You could not miss that, but we're underway otherwise cleanly here. The driver's getting himself through the first couple of corners. Out of 2 and 3, over to 4 for the first time. Getting pretty solidly through there. 2, 3 wide maybe coming out of that corner. Otherwise a little 4-driver breakaway up front here. Trey Sanders taking that early lead, pinching it down in the exit of turn number 5. Making sure he's the first driver to enter into the S's. Gets himself through the 6, 7, 8, 9 combination. Right behind him, locked up tight.
Very tight.
Looks like, is that Pena?
Right behind Sanders, that's Francisco.
Yeah.
Pretty in pink and chrome there, and 2 by 2. Look at this, Lion McPhail with a nice send down the inside. Good correction by you, Rob. Jackson Lambros, give a shout out to Jackson. He's working actually down on the camera ops this weekend. He's been calling a lot of Lion McPhail's races on the West Coast. He said, hey, make sure it's not Leon, it's Lion.
They got it right.
And the Lion is hungry right now here on the opening lap. Good start for Lion, up to 6th on that all-blue machine. Andres Marcelo Pena, probably the biggest loser on that opening lap. A tough run for him. On the other side, equally from the outside lane, Dusty Strayer from 12th has clawed up to 4th. And there's Pena going off, and one more in front of him. That was Katowski. Jack Katowski into the dirt in the second lap.
Little chaos here on the opening circuit, but also up front, a couple drivers working together. Trey Sanders and Tristan Francisco. They find themselves nicely out in the lead now.
So down the backstretch we go on lap number 2. Jack Katowski trying to recover. Let's see if he can get some help and faith from behind. He will. In fact, with the leaders staying single file, the whole rest of the field's going to do the same to try and keep touch with the top drivers. Trey Sanders will put another one in the books with his Nitro Kart RPM teammate behind him. Side by side for third, though. Dusty Strayer is digging and digging hard right now, Rob. That is another one. 9 spots up the leaderboard for Dusty in that black and white Parolin, now to third.
Yeah, able to get by Bo Wyatt down into turn number 1. You see that there. The Sody Kart of Dalton, Emmett Dalton, now running in that 5th position. 6th is Kip Canals. Then it's Katowski, Bishop, Sullivan, and Ramos. So your top 10 drivers right there, although the top 5 about 8/10 apart. Then it's another half a second back to Canals leading the way there of the next group in the 266. So there's your top 5. Then there's Canals there.
And down the backstretch, we see that the Velocity Sody Emmett Dalton is almost up to the top 4 in the pre-final. Kind of an opposite run for him. Started up at the front, best qualifying effort for him to date on the outside of the second row, and then kind of slipped down the leaderboard. He's up, and he's going to be potentially up more as the leaders fight and get closer, backed up to him. Tristan Francisco makes the first move for the lead. And it brings 2, 3 of them all by. 4 in total, as now Dalton gets the better of Sanders, but Trey with a crossover. Double passes here. Dusty Strayer to the lead with help from Bo Wyatt, and Francisco is off.
What does he lose coming back on the racetrack? Tires are going to be dirty, dropping gravel out there. Got the 211 of Dalton trying to slip by there as well. So at least one spot. I think maybe it was Wyatt potentially that went by.
Indeed. Bo Wyatt went by, and he was getting some help as well, making that move. Bo Wyatt with Dusty Strayer, and it was with Wyatt that Francisco collided, trying to hang on to second.
Yeah, and he's got Katowski right there with him as well. So as they come back around the line, it's going to shake things up a little bit. Dusty Strayer leads Bo Wyatt in a second. They've got themselves a bit of an advantage here right now, stretching away a little. All that chaos coming out of turn number 4 has given them a pretty nice little advantage up front. Trey Sanders runs third. Liam Francisco able to get back and stop the bleeding, gets himself into the 4th position. Right behind him is Katowski. We saw Katowski go off the outside of 1 and fight his way back forward a little earlier on. So he's working his way back up. Katowski up 6 positions, up 6 positions still. So a good start here over the first 4 laps for Jack Katowski.
And for Jack, making up for that lost time here. It couldn't have happened at a better session with how long it is. 20 laps is a long time around Musselman Honda Circuit here for these micro slips. It could feel eternal here if Bo Wyatt stays glued to the back of Dusty Strayer and nothing else changes. Lion McPhail trying to make some moves further back. That's on Emmett Dalton. Or no, is that
Kip Knaus in the 266?
Yeah. Indeed, mixed up the 2 blue machines. Kip Knaus and that Nitro Kart, the 266, is moving the chains. Put him to P6 now after starting up there. Now back to 7th, back to 6th again. Slicing and dicing there in the back half of the top 10.
He looked to the right. Dalton went to the left, and even though he lost the spot, Knaus gave him an over-under and was able to come back through on the other side. So Knaus in danger of losing a spot, but pushed it right back down to the apex and got a good run out of the corner. So he's looking back, trying to find out where the competition is. Currently running in that 6th spot. A lot of racing behind him now. Who is that's worked his way up? The 212, Shep Sullivan. Yeah, Shep Sullivan, who was 10th a couple laps ago. I think he's up into 7th position now. So a good run here for Sullivan. Picking up that black and yellow machine.
Yeah, the Vassar Sullivan Racing livery. The next in a long line of racing lineage. Trying to hang on to that move there around the outside. He'll stick the spot. There's a look at the updates here, and we're starting to see the temp differential from the air temps to the surface temps that we saw last weekend, Rob, with the sun really baking this place. 116 degrees track temps. They are soaring and scorching these Evenkos now. Got up to 140 last week. I don't think we'll hit that, being about 10 degrees lower on the air temp, but mind you, thinking back to yesterday, we were 88 and only 96, so we're way higher now, and the surface only getting hotter as they continue to fight further back. Meanwhile, up front, it was a 2-driver breakaway. It is not anymore. Bo Wyatt has gone by Dusty Strayer because it was not working to make this a 2-horse race. Trey Sanders and Tristan Francisco have hunted him down. Jack Katowski as well.
Yeah, Bo Wyatt's trying to pull away. Remember, he won the race on track yesterday, but got called for a jump start. He has that lead now over Strayer. Sanders, Francisco, Katowski right there as well. Katowski trying to get back by. The gap coming across the line about 3.5 tenths of a second. As Trey Sanders now up into the 2nd spot, Francisco to 3rd, Strayer back into 4th spot in front of Katowski. It's a 2.6 second advantage, though, back to Carson Bishop in 6th position. So right now, top 5 looks good. I'm not going to say it's clean to the end, because what we just saw in that last race, let me tell you that anybody back in even 8th or 9th or 10th could find themselves on the podium, depending on how things play out.
You saw there a little look there from Jack Katowski around the outside in the run into 5. He thought better of it and tucked in, and that was a smart play because Tristan Francisco is eating the leaders up here through the S's, really rolling towards the back of Bo Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt, who had that lead, a little bit of a gap there, now it is gone. Now we've got 5 drivers in this lead group. There goes Francisco to the inside of Wyatt. Dusty Strayer coming along with him as well. So Katowski at the end of that 5-driver group, Xander.
Indeed, Jack Katowski. He and, of course, Tristan Francisco with off-track moments earlier on. That's all now in the rear view. Move him to 4th. Trey Sanders back out in front, looking for a big-time win. Dusty Strayer's been oh so close. He's had a lot of fun the last time we saw him on Sunday. He was giving us hand gestures, dancing through the whole cool-down lap, ending up on the box at the Winter Series, Rob. And he's looking for some more fun here this week. Maybe a win in store, but any of these 5 realistically are still in contention. How about Carson Bishop as well back there in the 6th spot? The privateer on the Nitro Kart has gotten away from Emmett Dalton and Shep Sullivan, and Sullivan is going back to him on the black and yellow Vassar Sullivan livery Bennick. Remember, he was one of 2 that started at the back end of the field along with Enzo Ramos having an issue in qualifying. So they picked off half the field in that pre-final, and Shep has now gotten up to the 3rd spot in that second group further back, top of the screen. In 8th, he could get as high as 6th. Anything higher than that's going to rest on the shoulders of these 5. And what happens here?
Yeah, that's what we saw in that last race that looked like it was locked down. They work together. Do they battle each other? We're not even to the halfway point. That won't be until they get back to start finish. It'll be 10 down, 10 to go when they do get back to the stripe. Otherwise, a lot of racing still to go. You just got to kind of settle in here. Ooh, yeah, that's a little look to the inside for Strayer.
That would have been a new one if Dusty would have been able to send it into turn number 7, but ultimately thought better of it. Just ended up kind of cleaning the line back up to the S's and all in lockstep down the back straightaway. No need to be too aggressive. At the same point, maybe there is. Jack Katowski to 3rd. Contact between Bo Wyatt and Dusty Strayer. Got a little bit of airtime there for Dusty's left side tires, but no harm, no foul. They're still in range. Just need to lock back in for this first sector.
I'm just going to go with there's no desire just to run in order for like the next 6 or 7 laps to get it to the very end. You know, just work together. Maybe as a train. No, we're going to go. I don't think that Katowski liked being where he was. And here's Katowski going, try for another spot as well. He does not want to be there.
Oh, big off-track moment. Tristan Francisco. And he is not happy.
No.
I wouldn't be either. That was a straight up, not an elbow, but a full 2-hand shove into the Arizona desert.
Yeah, they were side by side coming out of that corner. And off the side goes Francisco when they were together. I guarantee Race Control will be having a look at that one. Bo Wyatt coming up to try to take advantage of it, go back to P3 now because essentially there are now just the 4 drivers. Is Francisco going to drop well back? We'll have a look at him in the background. He's lost quite a bit of time. See where he ends up when he comes back across the stripe right now. Indeed, P5. No, he's even going for the 8th position for Tristan Francisco. So he goes from essentially 4th, 3rd or 4th back into the 8th spot.
Man, 2 times off in turn number 4. Gut punch for sure, and I think turn 4 might see another. Oh, I was puckering there, Rob, having deja vu from last lap if Trey Sanders was going to be the next one to get the boot, but Dusty Strayer gave him plenty of space. Trey slots into 3rd, and Bo Wyatt out in command. First time here in this final, trying to go and do what he did yesterday, get to the lead and get away. Looks like it'll be a much more difficult task. Let's look at this. Katowski, Francisco, and I think equally, while they both were fighting for position, and Jack had certainly sent it deep enough to get there, Rob, that was the tires getting stuck together that kind of magnified the impact here.
Look at the steering wheels, though.
Yeah.
Looks to me like Katowski's taking it all the way out to the outside of the racetrack. I know the tires are locked up a little bit there, but man, that's tough.
Yeah, and it was a hard send for sure. He was well down low. This corner, obviously, it bends on the run into turn number 4. It makes it inviting for those big time divers. Equally, those over-unders we've seen all day long as we got problems here.
That's a 292 off. Cohen Scott was running in the 14th position.
Kiddix Performance USA, Kart Republic there was running in 14th. So yes, to the rear he goes. But yeah, Rob, that's an interesting one because it wasn't like it was Francisco sliding backwards and the train coming by that ended up knocking him off the racetrack. Is now that Bo Wyatt gets freight trained by Katowski for the race lead. You know, the normal rule, right? You own the entrance, you own the apex, and then you own the exit. Katowski had gotten nose to nose with him by the apex. Neither one wanted to give, but again, at the same point, oh, you see moments like that and you really worry about it. Wow, big impact, Dusty Strayer. All the way down the berm and nearly into the chain link fence.
Yeah, he was up sideways on the wheels there. The contact coming down into turn number 1. 5 drivers were in the lead group, make it 3 now. An incident over in turn 4, and then Dusty Strayer off in turn number 1.
What was for lunch today for these micro Swifts? I mean, this is midway through the race, catching both of us off guard. 2 heavy impacts. with a lot of racing left.
Was there a birthday cake or something maybe that somebody had?
Something hyped the kids up, or they were waiting too long. Let's look at this. Bo Wyatt inside, Strayer on the outside. I mean, I don't think Bo could go much lower. And again, the tire-to-tire contact's what popped Dusty in the air.
Here it is here.
Again, same thing. I mean, you see there's not any black stuff to the left of Bo. Once the tires hit, the Bennett goes straight, but that's because with the front tires hitting, neither driver can turn at that point. I would argue that one, though, probably a little more in the hard racing to incident responsibility end of the spectrum, because he was certainly deep enough alongside to warrant the position.
And that was on the entry, not on the exit, right? That was the fight to the entry. They were obviously
fighting to the apex.
Strayer was trying to get down, keep him pitched down, and
another one. That's one of the FDM Pantanos. That's the CRG. No, it is indeed a Pantano. Thought it was Michael Dean. Indeed, Michael Dean on the Pantano for Precision Works Racing, the team based out of California, led by Chris Freckleton, longtime engine builder, for the last few years team owner as well. And down the backstretch, 5.5 to go. We had 5 of them in the lead group. We're down to just 3, provisionally, of course. We don't know what the final result will be, but it may be more than just 3 before it's said and done. We still have 5 laps left, and Tristan Francisco is not giving up. That kid last time by, Rob, ripped out a lap that was half a second faster than Jack Katowski in the lead. Now, of course, they were trading that top spot, but 3rd place, or 4th place, with 5th and 6th in tow, Carson Bishop and Emmett Dalton. Could they bring Tristan Francisco back to life and revive his hopes of standing on the box today?
Right now it's Katowski working with Sanders out front. Bo Wyatt trying to get himself into the fight as well. Not done here at all. We know Bo Wyatt had the speed yesterday to get the race win. A little wider on the exit. Carried a lot of speed out of the corner. Trey Sanders down to the bottom. Katowski sees him. Bo Wyatt's going to come, make it 3 wide, coming down into the corner. Bo Wyatt goes to the lead in turn number 11. Book it. Down the inside, he takes 2.
Oh, we are dancing on Sunday, boys. 3 wide for the lead with 4.5 to go. Now 4 laps remaining. Bo Wyatt the leader into turn number 1. Everybody wanting to end off with a checkered flag before we head to Cincinnati for rounds 3 and 4 of the Pro Tour. The micros are duking it out, and it has not been a traditional cadet race in micro and mini Swift where we see 1 or 2 break away early and not pass till the buzzer, really till the 2 to go signal. These kids are going at it here in this entirety of the second half. You'd think they gave the double sticks at the halfway mark by the way they're driving, Rob, as if it's sudden death, and at any moment the race could end of whoever's in the lead. Bo Wyatt now in command again. A little wide for him out of turn number 9. I wonder how dirty as well the track is getting. We're hearing that the wind has been picking up a little bit. We know there is some precipitation a good ways away from the circuit. That's what's darkened the skies. But whatever the mix is, or the surface temp skyrocketing and having all these kids slip and slide around the surface, 3 laps remain, 3 in the lead group, but also keep in mind the gaps on the left on the pylon. It was more than 3 seconds. It's now less than that for Tristan Francisco and company to get up there.
Yeah, Francisco is bringing Dalton and Bishop with him right now. If they keep racing like they are here up front, doing the big moves to 4 here where you lose so much of the run out of the corner, you can see how much dirt has come off the racetrack for the drivers who have been off driver's right coming out of 4. You've got to stay on the racing line coming through that area. Again, 3 laps to go. 2 to go, we come back around here. Wyatt still leads. Win yesterday, lost it for a jump start. Does he get the retribution here today, the redemption event? Coming through again here. Much wider on the exit of turn 11 than Katowski. Still holds the spot coming out of turn 12.
2 laps to go. Bo Wyatt, Jack Katowski, Trey Sanders covering the low side into turn number 1. Door to door, Wyatt and Katowski. Sanders trying to close back in. Didn't get the best exit, but now he'll close up really nicely into 2 and 3. The gap opened up that lap as they were tucked in line, but it'll evaporate now. Wyatt trying to stay low here through 4. Nothing on the over-under from Trey. Jack Katowski having a look into 5, but he thought better of it there. Only about a half car width. There wasn't quite enough space.
Xander, I think Francisco, Dalton, and Bishop are battling themselves back there as well. They're not just lining up. I looked back there at the back of the screen at one point, and they were too wide coming into the corner as well. So they're not doing themselves any favors as this thing here is coming down to just 2 drivers.
Oh, this is going to be wild. Look at that. You can see it back there with Francisco and company. Wyatt still trying to cover low. He gets a little bit out of shape. Trey Sanders is winding up for a run onto the front stretch, but he didn't quite time it good. He's now on the bumper of Katowski again. 1 to go in Microswift, presented by Grupo Santana Vega. Bo Wyatt trying to get a nice ending note for his weekend. After being the first of the checkers yesterday, he's hanging on so far to turns 2 and 3.
Trey Sanders looking to clean this up, waiting for his opportunity. Here comes a big overrun. We saw Caden McQueen do this earlier today. Does he get a good run coming out of the corner? Not quite. Turned in a little bit too late.
Katowski in the dirt, though. He'll wash out a little bit through 5. Again, Trey's doing everything by the book to set up for a run, but I think he's just too wide in the arc, and equally, whether it's slippery or grippy on the line, this is tight right here. Katowski to the lead. Wyatt to the wayside. Trey Sanders now with an opportunity, but he's got to get back in the draft to Katowski, or he'll let him have an easy run to the corner. Let's see it. Down the inside. Sanders, crossover again. Is the run enough? They'll drag race. Jack Katowski wins on Sunday by a matter of thousandths at the line.
I'll tell you, we talked a little bit about that pass over in turn number 9, right at the end of the S's. We saw Ruben Moya do it in qualifying. He didn't want to get checked up. Katowski, I think, caught Wyatt totally off guard, threw it into the inside, pushed wide on the exit, and was able to get away with it there. The margin of victory, 57 thousandths of a second.
Incredible stuff here as the Grupo Santana Vega Microswift main event comes to a close. Jack Katowski, by just a matter of inches, hangs on over Trey Sanders. Bo Wyatt third, Tristan Francisco fourth. Emmett Dalton rounds out the top 5 over Carson Bishop. Shep Sullivan from zero to hero here kind of day. Back of the grid in the qualifier, up the pre-final, up into the top 10 once again on Sunday. Andres Marcelo Pena, top 10 as well. Benjamin Monroy,
+9.
Good recovery drive for the Croc Motion Machine. And then Axel Gomez, your top 10. Here's a look at the rest of them. And man, Dusty Strayer, scary moment down at turn number 1, and it looks like we weren't done. One of the Calvo driver development entries.
AJ Burrell.
And he crossed the line. This is on the cooldown lap, Rob. He ended 15th. This is all the way in the S's.
Off the racetrack in the S's coming through.
That's late in the cooldown lap.
Obviously, potential contact with a couple of drivers. Cooling down. Happens sometimes. We all know this. In the cool down lap, your mind kind of goes a bit foggy. You know, you're cooling down.
Maybe you're trying
air.
to get maybe you got the coaching from team owner and driver coach Oliver Calvo to pick up tire marbles offline and got a bit too sideways. Maybe having some fun on the cool down lap, taking in the last 8/10 of a mile, the last time around these 12 corners for who knows when here. The first our return to Musselman Honda Circuit wasn't announced until just a couple of months ago, and now the micros are all done with it for the 2026 season. We'll be back with more, though, and a lot more of this KA100 Senior when we come back.
IAMI USA West is the official West Coast importer for IAMI engines and parts. Our dedicated and knowledgeable staff have a combined 50+ years experience in the sport and can help you with all of your needs. Call us today or visit our website to find your local dealer to shop.
Attention Superkarts USA drivers. Be sure to order your complete photo package from On Track Promotions. All drivers receive a minimum of 40 photos from throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with instant access from our automated delivery system. Visit otp.ca right now to get instant access to your photos.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Well, karts are just getting ready to fire up on the grid for KA100 Senior. We're hoping for a bit of a cleaner run on through to turn number 1 than what they had yesterday. Was a struggle to get these guys and girls underway. 47 of them in a scary moment early in that main event with Finnegan Bailiff. Let's take you through the starting lineup here, folks, as they head out onto the racetrack for KA Senior, presented by Kart CRG USA. Caden McQueen will lead your field to green here alongside Ruben Moya. Caleb Gaffera and Paulie Massimino back on row number 2. Chase Hand, Isaac Melkin, Little Sizzle back on row 3. Jackson Gibson was able to make up a handful of spots on the earlier sessions of the day. Jose Alejandro Helfin on the outside of him in row number 4. Dean Peterson and Matthew Cagle on row number 5. And then the rows continue. Alexander Vanchev on the inside in row 6 alongside Camp Chambers. And then it's Johnny Stamps and Archer Eversman back on row number 7.
Colby Romero starting the 15th spot alongside Owen Luther, Edgar Rodriguez, and Bailey Murphy. Bailey doing double duty here, already done for the weekend in the KA100 Masters class. He's going to start 18th here in KA Senior.
Then on backwards here, Christopher McKeith and Lydia Small complete your top 20. Let's keep looking. Josh Leslie on the inside of row number 11, further back in 21st. He starts alongside Joseph Hewitt. Then it's Killian Harris and Maxim Barron on row 12. Wrigley Keys, Isaac Gardner, row 13.
Gavin McCune will be in the 27th spot. Dylan Dransfeld there on the outside of row 14. Cooper O'Clair and Jacob Capel on row 15. Field now working its way out of turn number 12.
Good look at the final handful of starters as we get set to go green. KA100 Senior style. 46 of them, now 47, ready to go as they head down to turn number 1. Caden McQueen has the field, and we're racing.
McQueen nicely down to the bottom of the racetrack. No issues from behind him. Everybody else settling in nicely. Great job for the drivers there. Caleb Gaffera not into the back of him as well. Held strong from P3. I think he's going to come out in second. Indeed, he does. Moya will go into the 3rd spot. Everybody further back. It's 5th on back where we start doubling up in. Front-running 4 drivers able to stretch away cleanly. Moya quickly going after Caleb Gaffera. He'll work his way now up into the 2nd spot. So put the Pontano to P2. He starts the chase after Caden McQueen.
Great start for Johnny Stamps as well. You see he's been able to get ahead of this group here, right around where the pack is split back from one of his GFC teammates, around 11th or so. But Caden McQueen, Ruben Moya, Caleb Gaffera, lots of experience up front. Chase Hand, you could throw him in that bunch as well. And then yesterday's winner, Paulie Massimino, leads the 2nd train. 1 lap in the books. And this class, it always finds a way to deliver. What is in store today? Change for 3rd there. Chase Hand goes by and onwards towards his march up the board.
Yeah, I'm sure that Gaffera would love to have not had that happen, just so that give him the opportunity for that front 4 drivers to pull away. Moya's going to go to the inside, book it. He's going to go to the lead early. No chance, no idea of any of these drivers to try to pull away as a group. They're going to fight it out here over the first couple of laps. And, you know, it's nice sometimes to think you can slot in Xander to the top 4 and just pull away. But for the most part, if you get your elbows up and you battle pretty hard over the first 2, 3, 4, 5 laps, the field is just naturally going to spread itself out as well. You don't have to worry about the guys back, 10th on back, 11th on back if you're battling hard up front. Same goes here for Massimino. He makes the move to the inside of Gaffera at the end of the straightaway as well. You can see the field starting to stretch out. Go lap 3, lap 4, then maybe settle in a bit.
Yeah, hopefully they'll give themselves a couple of laps here. Ruben Moya now taking command out in front over Caden McQueen with Chase Hand right behind him. I mean, these are a lot of drivers that already have plenty of laps around each other. Will they all trust each other enough to stay in line, or will we see lots of moves at the front of the field? Paulie Massimino, you can see that BJR LN kart has a crushed in front bumper. I hope he didn't end up getting a pushback on the start. It was a lot of them down to turn number 1, and that's, of course, been the talk of the weekend, comparing and contrasting the 2 senior divisions, Rob. KA Senior versus Pro X30. Both at nearly 50 drivers in total, one with pushbacks, one without, and both turn 1s have been gruesome, to put it lightly.
Chase Hand there pitching the inside, coming down into the turn in.
One off. That looked to be the Bennett of Chase Gassie at Lee. I'll wait and confirm that here. He was trying to march his way up the board. He was up about 10 spots to 29th last time by. We'll wait and see, and indeed, in confirmation, it is him along with another Pantano. That's the 945 machine of Spencer Smith out. Grace Quinones also falling down the board, involved in some capacity, but all three drivers, I think, were around each other, and now contact beginning to make its way in the front. Caleb Gaffera trying to hang on strong. That was Jackson Gibson and him alongside in turn 4. Gibson gave way, and it's opened up a little bit of a margin here.
Yeah, Isaac Malkin had made a move to the inside of Gaffera there, and he had to kind of check up and get out of it. Good to stay on the racetrack. Was very close to dropping those right side wheels off. Gaffera wisely able to tuck back in, and he's got back into the open racetrack again. Here's a move for Massimino. Again, he and Chase Hand are having the battle back and forth here now. Massimino now up into the third spot. It's still Moya, though, out front cleanly. Remember, Moya did not run yesterday after a penalty laid down during practice where they called instant responsibility and did not like to see that. Gave him the penalty of sitting out the remainder of the day on Friday and the entire competition day on Saturday. So a round one would be a potential drop if they allow that. So Moya, with no opportunity for any more drops, he'll have to take very good care if he plans on running the full Pro Tour.
And so for Ruben Moya, it's not just about winning races, but every point matters, including the fastest lap of the session. Of course, that's not held by anyone near the front of the field. That fast lap honor is way back. Jackson Menchu, who, by the way, Rob, is up 13 spots as we see Paulie Massimino move his way up to second. Menchu in the 994, all the way back in 29th. But he started basically at the rear. Where will he get up to this lap by as Paulie takes over the lead for the first time here in the afternoon?
Massimino back to the lead again, winner from yesterday. Does he have what it takes to go back-to-back? Xander concerned about the front bumper on that number 940 machine after the start was bottled up coming down into turn 1. There's McQueen back to the inside of Moya, so McQueen puts the Sodi back out front. Already a big win on the day for Sodi in the Pro Shifter category with Mateus Borgado. McQueen up into the second spot. Third, Moya. What's this lead group look like as they work their way down the back straightaway? You got Gaffera, I think, to the tail of it, so probably top 6 there now. Moya had the point. He has gone back to third, so it's now going to be Massimino, McQueen, Moya, Hand, Malkit, and Gaffera. 8/10 back to Dean Peterson.
Yeah, Dean Peterson on the march here in the RPG Cosmic. Mind you, he started pretty far back yesterday, so he didn't make a lot of noise today. He started a little better. He's already up a couple. This will get him closer to the lead with another change. Ruben Moya back out front on lap number 7. Bringing Paulie with him back by McQueen. Malkut to the inside of Caleb G. That'll be another spot change. They're just kind of flip-flop in 1 or 2 positions apiece when you look at your top 10 starters. You have to go way back for anyone marching up the board. We talked about Colin Lloyd. He must have gotten a penalty in that pre-final, Rob, because he got all the way up to the teens, but he had to start all the way back to 32nd. And now, as they roll through on lap number 7, Moya leads the way with Massimino and McQueen in tow.
Yeah, Matthew Cagle able to get by Peterson, I believe, on that lap as well. You see him just back there pushing hard to try to reel in on Gaffera. Big run around the outside for Moya. He'll take that lead back again. I'll tell you, they had a little conversation there coming out, a little hand signal, and I think Massimino content to stay right with him here now. As you can see the battle there further back is McQueen getting by Hand. McQueen third, Hand fourth, Malkit, Gaffera, Cagle, Peterson, Vanchev, Halfin. That's your top 10. As Moya likes to lead out front here now. Seems to like to get himself back to P1. I know Massimino thinks the same way, although Massimino did spend most of the race yesterday behind Joe Turney in the Pro X30 category. Didn't get the job done at the very end. I think yesterday, much better in terms of being able to get out front, potentially pull away. If you're out front, you do give the opportunity for the guys behind to give you that one opportunity. All it takes is a big dive bomb move for a guy trying to get second to allow that leader to pull away.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to how many karts are in the pack, right? If it's a 2-driver fight, you're almost in more control being the man in second than the man in the lead. But in a pack this big, the only safe spot is the one up front, because a battle could open up for second, and if you're further back than third, it still is going to affect your race. You're still going to lose time because of what the drivers in front of you do, but with a fast car leading the pack, you'll slowly see the end of the into one, and Paulie was not happy about it, and he's like, dude, give me a chance. But again, Moya was trying to avoid this. Getting into the side of him was McQueen, who kind of was trying to give room equally for Chase Hand, sending it down the inside 3 wide.
Malkin right in there further back, as is Gaffera, Cagle, Peterson. All that group's kind of worked their way back up here now. Hand now works his way up into second. McQueen goes to third. Moya all the way back to fourth. As there's a big move to the inside there in turn 4 for Massimino. Again, he let the guys behind them start to battle out. They were actually 3 wide at one point coming out of turn number 4. That allowed Massimino to do a full-on racing line through turn number 5. It hasn't given him that much of an advantage right now, but he is back to P1.
Caden McQueen sending it deep. He looks good to me, Rob, and he's kind of kept his tires pretty cool with the moves that he has made, or really more so that he has not made by riding in this pack. Meanwhile, everyone around him in front and behind him made a lot more aggressive moves, and yeah, on cue, he's going to take advantage of that. Go up by Chase Hand there in turn 4 to second. Yesterday, a frustrating end for Caden McQueen. He knew as soon as he was able to see the replay and even catch up with Paulie afterwards that it wasn't Massimino who was truly at fault for getting into him. Paulie admitted it as well. He was locked on the brakes and just kept on going into the back bumper of that Velocity Sodi as they were all stacked up front. But yesterday looked like it could have been the day for Caden McQueen, just like Supernats looked like it could have been the day for his first Superkarts USA win in KA or in X30. He's got another great shot today here in KA100 Senior. He wanted to take it there, but I don't know if that was so much a look at Paulie or an equally defensive move there to keep Hand behind him. But there's a lot of time left. There's still so much left to happen here in this final.
Yeah, 11 down, 11 to go. Long way to go still. We're only halfway through this. Massimino leads, but we're seeing maybe things starting to shake out a little bit, as we talked about. Hand, Moya, McQueen. You see the gap starting to stretch back to some of the drivers there. You got to go all the way back, I think, to, where are we? Likely Johnny Stamps in 11th. Big gap after that. Actually, Gibson's there with him as well, but there's your big run. Then finally you got a gap back there. So a lot of drivers essentially in the lead train, not so much in the lead group.
Oh no, one up and over.
That's Nick Mercer, I think, potentially upside down.
Flip there. Could that bring the red flag out? I think he's waving his hands that he was okay, but needed help getting out from the cart. He's up, he's okay. The Kartworks Racing driver.
9:06 to Nick Mercer, out of 4.
Hard look there, but good to see that he was okay. Nick Mercer out. A number of others he joins at the bottom. Gassie at lead, Lydia Small, Spencer Smith gone. Grace Quinones, I thought she was out. She kept going. So we have 41 now that remain on the racetrack here. If my numbers are correct, taking a look at the live leaderboard here, working lap 13.
Look at the lead here for Massimino. Almost a half a second last time by. Moya's been able to go into P1 now. He got by McQueen on that last lap. So Moya back to second, McQueen in third.
Look at the dust on the front straightaway for the leaders, all of them hitting it, and I think it might have just knocked Paulie's bumper in. I don't know if it was that or the curb impact coming out of the front straightaway. That thing did not look loose before. It looks loose now. Or at minimum, it is certainly scraping the ground, which is going to hurt him in a number of corners, and more importantly, down the straightaway, scrubbing speed. So as we keep an eye here on the front bumper of Massimino, I mean, it doesn't look loose is the crazy thing. I think it's just so crushed in that finally it's starting to scrape the ground. But because I think if it were deployed, it would have already really made itself visible to us, Rob.
Yeah, it's hard to pick up, isn't it? Just to determine whether or not it's down or not.
I think it's okay. Now, checking back in, Caden McQueen this lap has been shuffled behind Chase Hand. And wow, Dean Peterson, Caleb Gaffera all full lock going into 11. It is getting slippery out there here for these KA senior drivers as they roll into turn number 1. McQueen on the inside trying to fight back forward. Matt Cagle now goes back behind him, and he is sandwiched between a pair of GFCs trying to get back up to the front the front two, because Moya and Massimino have the biggest gap we've seen all race and a true opportunity to break away from everybody else.
They do, exactly that. For the first time, McQueen's gone back to 4th. Chase Hand leading that chase group. Running 3rd, good gap. 7/10 last time by. Moya back to Hand, you can see it there. Left side of the screen. Moya head down. Massimino's been so good here this weekend. The consistency is there. That car package is running so well.
And he's got points to show for it here, Rob, as we put 15 laps in the books. If they were to finish as they run, Paulie Massimino would leave Arizona with a 15-point lead over Caden McQueen and a healthy cushion back to the rest of the field. Of course, Ruben Moya won't show on the standings because he had to miss out on yesterday, but there's a look at it. 110 back would be Chase Hand in third. Now, we're not going to factor drops in, obviously, this early in the season, but you could definitely make a case that your two contenders for the title with 2 months to sit on it are going to be the Brit, Caden McQueen, and the American, Paulie Massimino, hot off yesterday's win, trying to tee up a double win on his first and second trips here to Tucson, Arizona, competing last weekend, getting some podiums at the RMC Americas Trophy, and now here, a win and a second yesterday. This place has treated him nice. He doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of it, funny enough, Rob, when we talked to him.
He did not.
But this circuit has been good to Paulie. And now another lap in the books. 6 to go. He and Ruben Moya's lead up to a full second back to Chase Hand.
Last couple of laps, Matthew Cagle is one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack, turning 52.3s back to 52.5 now. He closed up to Caden McQueen, but was not able to keep up those 53 threes to be able to 52 threes rather to be able to find a way by. He is still right there. McQueen now putting the pressure on Hand, but you talked about earlier, he's got the GFC in the front and the GFC in the back. Cagle has just not had what it's taken to pull the trigger to move McQueen back one more spot, and that's the pressure that's getting laid on Hand right now. That's for the final spot on the podium. That is third, fourth, fifth, and sixth right there. Hand, McQueen, Cagle, and Peterson. Leaders, though, out front. Xander, lap 17 goes in the books. That means 5 to go this time by. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty.
It's decision time if you're Caden McQueen. You've given Chase Hand the opportunity to lead you forward. Now you got to go. Here he is to the inside in turn 1. The gap is only getting bigger. Hopefully you bought enough faith in both Chase and the cars behind with the speed you had yesterday that you can lead them to the promised land. And back up front, you're going to need to be able to trust in them and open the door at every major passing zone. And they're going to have to resist temptation to send it down the inside if they want any chance at going better than third today.
And even with that, Xander, they're going to need the leaders to battle sooner or later. The gap at 1.2 seconds last time by, 1.214. You can see it there visually. If Moya has the patience, these guys aren't going to catch, I don't think. They're going to, but if they start battling with a couple laps to go, all bets are off.
It is so impressive to me, Paulie Massimino with that crushed in front bumper. You can see it nailing the asphalt here as he rumbles over the seals onto the run into turn number 1, and yet still he is tracking as fast as ever. With the pass, McQueen lost obviously a couple of hundredths to him. Overall, that whole pack loses about a tenth or two in the exchange, moving Hand back to fourth. But now, like you said, they need a lot of speed, a lot of trust, not a lot of this here as Johnny Stamps makes the move stick on Caleb Gaffera. But ultimately, they need the leaders to battle to bring them back into the mix. And Ruben Moya, I think, is playing this one as smart as could be, as conservative as could be. And even still, he hasn't necessarily been in control this whole way. I mean, look at the gap now. Paulie has pulled a full car length away from the Pantano in second.
Last time by, Xander, outright pace, 52.5s for all three. McQueen did not make anything up at all, just on pace. Let's see when they come back across the line. We'll put lap number 19 in the books. No pass down into 1 as we see yet. Waiting for live timing to update. 52.5, 52.6, 52.4. So McQueen a couple hundredths of a second. That's not going to be enough to get the job done. He was a little bit quicker, about maybe a quarter of a tenth of a second quicker than the leader last time by. But remember, we're winding these laps up, working lap number 20. 3 laps remain.
Great look through the lens. Nice and close here. It's at Little Sizzle. Isaac Malcutt yesterday into 5th, got to the lead at the end. Tried to get into the mix with the likes of Hand and McQueen and ends up getting sent into the dirt. Put a drop round for him on round 1. Obviously a drop round for Moya. And for Paulie Massimino, if he doubles up here, it's going to be a high bar for everyone else to keep up with through the remaining 2 rounds of the season at 2 tracks he's had a lot of success at over the years. 2 to go. Paulie's going to begin to block now. Moya, I don't know if he was in a hurry to get to the lead. He's still keeping tabs on the pack behind. And Paulie as well, not trusting Ruben to go by early. He wants to obviously lead this one to the end. And just this bit here on this lap is going to bring everybody back into the mix.
Oh, man, what did I talk about? The minute that defense happened, I almost think that Massimino's more than happy to bring him in here on Moya, right? If they're able to get more, does Moya find a way by coming through here? They're going to be side by side, but Moya takes the lead going into the S's.
Oh, and he perfectly positioned Massimino into the marbles. Caden McQueen now trying to take advantage. He's got a nose down low. Hand's going to shove him by. Paulie Massimino frustrated. He knows that move right there just cost him the lead, potentially the race win. Back to fourth he falls. Peterson now locks in behind the 940. And Ruben Moya looking to maximize the day on Sunday with a big lead into turn number 1.
What happened to Massimino on the turn into 5 to be able to have him push out like that and let Moya pull to the inside? McQueen's closing up. If he's close enough here through these couple of corners back to 4, if he defends to the bottom, it's all wide open. Massimino to the bottom as well. McQueen's right there. Hand is there as well. Moya's going to low line down into 5. Big outside run there as well for Massimino. Hand's right in the fight.
Hand and got into the side of McQueen. Now, Caden McQueen teeing up, left, right, center, as he tries to get the over-under out of the backstretch. He got a good run. It wasn't a great one. Moya still has the inside. How gutsy are you? On the brakes, into 11. McQueen sends it deep. Moya's going to drive him to the edge. And Ruben Moya, out of turn 12, survives the onslaught. He wins round 2 in Arizona.
Oh, a barn burner in KA100 Senior. Whatever that minor mistake was for Massimino over in turn number 5. Opened the door for a tight apex through the double apex right-hander for Ruben Moya. Somehow he comes out with the lead going into the S's, and that was enough. Xander challenged big time by Caden McQueen and Chase Hand. It was not enough. 72 thousandths of a second. Moya, in his essentially debut day of the weekend, comes away with the win.
There you go. Ruben Moya joined the class midway through last year, as did Paulie Massimino at rounds 3 and 4 in Cincinnati. And with the chip stacked against him, having to sit out and watch the action on Saturday, Ruben Moya makes the most of Sunday with the race win in KA Senior. Chase Hand gets a podium for the West Coast contingent. Caden McQueen second. How about the rookie, Matt Cagle, not only a top 5, he also gets the fast lap of the main event as well.
Yeah, this particular screen here, wow. Colin Lloyd up 17, Cooper Auclair up 13, Jackson Menchu up 25, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Nicely done by those 3 drivers. Double-digit improvement. Chris Harrower as well, up 18. Moya, though, cruising into the grass a little bit coming through.
Whatever he wants to do, he's earned it today. An ultimate answer after having to suffer the consequences on Saturday. Ruben Moya is your winner in KA100 Senior, presented by Kart CRG USA.
What'd I get?
Okay. I think, like, literally, we went there and I pushed him and he slammed. I didn't know if it was you or Chase Hand.
I have no power on the trip.
Do you think he hit you because
I couldn't fight anybody.
I don't know why. Yeah. I see you like this, and him a little more on the inside.
Yeah, but I had no power on the trip.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Ruben Moya, the winner here in KA Senior. Ruben, I'll bring you over here close to me, but what a race. What an end to that one. And again, one race, all you needed to get on the top step of the podium. Tell me about your win here in KA Senior.
Yeah, I'm very happy for the win. My first win in the USA and my first win in 2 years. Yeah, we didn't race yesterday. I got a penalty on Friday. It was too heavy. I got already penalty not driving Friday. I think that was enough. And then not yesterday, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about that. But yeah, I think it was too much. But anyway, we take the win.
And again, making the long haul over from Colorado with Greg and the whole camp, how good does it feel to get the first one for the team here on the national scene?
I would feel great. I mean, we work so hard. We are very focused on what we are doing. We are very good. I think the FDM team are very good setting the go-kart for the KA especially. So yeah, I mean, I think we will all enjoy.
Well, there you go, Ruben. Enjoy the win. And Ruben Moya, KA Senior winner.
Ruben Moya, big-time win today. With the drops getting factored in by the end of the season, we know he'll be a threat. But Paulie Massimino, even off of the back of a P4 provisionally, will lead us into rounds 3 and 4. Caden McQueen, 15 markers back in the standings. Chase Hand, third. Matt Cagle, the rookie, up and into fourth. And then here's a look at the rest of your top 10, including your reigning series champ having a rougher start to 2026, Rob, down in 10th.
Yeah, Diego down there in that 10th position, not the result that he would have wanted out of this weekend. Still not totally out of it. We're not talking drops as of yet, but a great start for Paulie Massimino. Good to see Chase Hand in there as well. We got some East Coasters, we got some West Coasters, we got some British drivers, we got some Spaniards as well. International fields for sure in the category, and again, I can't wait to get to MCC to fire this one back up again.
Neither can I. It's going to be a barn burner in the countryside of Ohio. For now, X30 Junior is queued up, and when we talk championship points, this kid already knows it. Travis Pettit, the round 1 winner, trying to double up on the weekend. The speed has been phenomenal for Hurricane Trav in the 729 machine. But again, that only makes everyone else keeping an eye on you and doing what they can to change the viewpoint from the back of your helmet to the front when they see a Nico Katowski lines up first in line behind him. And off the back of a close call in that KA Junior main event among so many fighting for the race win, Rob, he would love to end the day on a high note here before they leave Musselman Honda Circuit. And the RPG crew continues with Royce Vega.
Yeah, you know what I like what we're seeing here is the very first weekend of the Pro Tour. You're going to see the drivers that are going to rise to the top, right? You're seeing the juniors that are coming to the forefront for their time in the spotlight. Some of the younger drivers coming in for sure. They're going to have races where they're able to kind of show what they've got. But for the most part, a lot of the time, Xander, it's the second and third year junior drivers. Their time to shine, as I had said before. And that's what we see in the Pro Tour. Those are the drivers that you see up front.
We've gotten some cloud cover, but it is still hot outside. And we'll certainly touch on the conditions and what that might do to the field, to the drivers, and to the air pressure they set on the tires, the chassis setup. It's their third full heat cycle. It's 22 laps. It will be a test of it all to close out the X30 Junior weekend here as we get set to bring you the starting lineup for Rollison Performance Group X30 Junior. Our third to last of main events. The racing here at Tucson has been exceptional. Lot to live up to here for the RPG X30 Juniors. Travis Pettit, of course, will lead your field to green. He'll start on the inside of row number 1 alongside Ashton Woon. It'll be Nico Katowski and Tristan Murphy moving back onto row number 2. And row 3, Royce Vega, as we saw on screen there, alongside Colton Schneegenberg, who is certainly looking for a bit of an improvement on the luck spectrum here in that Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart.
Field line themselves up, coming out of turn number 10. Getting the heat built into these Avinco tires. Some aggressive tire warming as they work their way down into turn number 11. You can see the downhill run, extended brake zone. Don't have that big tailwind we had yesterday. But field getting set up with Pettit and Woon on the front row, Katowski and Murphy on row number 2.
And so there they are, full lineup on the left side here as the field begins to work its way out onto the front straightaway. We're ready for action. We're ready to go. Will we get the green flag on the first try by? It's been the case most of the time. It looks good enough here, and it does. We're racing into turn number 1.
Take a chance to have a look as we talk about the fact with the no pushbacks in this X30 Junior category. They look pretty good, I think, for the first 5 rows to me. Drivers clean and green coming out. Katowski's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack to try to get that spot away from Ashton Woon. I think he does that. He'll go to P2. Pettit taking full advantage of the pole position and a strong run out of the apex of 1. Carried a lot of momentum through the corner. Man, indeed, Xander, probably the best lead we've seen for a driver coming out of the 5-6 combination that leads on to the S's then down the straightaway. Look at the lead right now for Travis Pettit.
Yeah, what an incredible opening lap here in the works for him. Meanwhile, further back, it is a whole lot of use of the racetrack down to turn number 11. Nathan Golseth going way low to make up a spot there. We'll get the first look at the running order now with a lap in the books. Nico Katowski up to second, of course, Woon third, Murphy, Vega, and then a gap from Royce back to Nathan Golseth, who has just been knocking on the door of getting into the top 10 and now ended up getting a podium off that chaos at the end of the KA Junior main. Tristan Murphy was second in that one. He's now up to third with that move on Woon.
Opening laps, just starting to get drivers settled in as always. Royce Vega there, P5, end of what is essentially the lead group. If you still count him with Pettit out to that nice 7/10 of a second lead. Strong lead early on here for Pettit now. Listen, Katowski and the rest behind have to put their heads down. Katowski looking good here, though, as he's closing up a bit. We'll look at lap times when they come back around as well, see whether or not Katowski has the outright place to reel him in. Right now, Murphy able to get by Woon. You see the swap on the pylon there. How about down into turn number 1? Yeah, Woon's going to go back by. So a little action there for P3. Xander as Woon and Murphy swap at the spot a couple times.
Looking now as they roll through the infield chicane. Travis Pettit now with a look to the inside on Murphy. This is going to get tight at the end of the corner. Royce Vega, and he slips a little bit, drops the right rear off, but hangs on, and Tristan Murphy fades back to 5th.
A lot of racing here in the top 5 when you got a leader pulling away. I'm surprised they're not trying to kind of work together to get that top 5 run. You don't want to be battling like this and watch at this point with these two drivers, the top 3 pull away. Already, Katowski has reeled in Pettit, so we have a chance for a 2-driver breakaway now. As you can see further back, elbows are up. These drivers are throwing sliders at each other, coming down through turn number 11, while the leaders, I was going to say, are lining up, but I think Katowski may have just made a move. He did. Katowski to the bottom of the racetrack. Book it. He'll come out with the race lead.
Good run for Nico Katowski now. Travis Pettit for the first. Oh, got one off. One of the REM machines. That's the 731 down at the end of the pylon. Christopher Goulet around in the final 2 turns. His day is done only on lap number 3. And look at this. Maxwell Macha, Colton Schneegenberg. That is the fight for 8th onwards. They just got past Enzo Di Gennaro for the 7th spot. They've lost a couple of seconds to your leaders, but a big wake up here for Nico Katowski. There's a look at the weather on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. We're about 20 miles plus or minus southwest of the white dot next to the Tucson text on screen. You can see we've got some rain showers, some pop-up showers around us, and it's overcast, but we're still a good ways away from getting any bit of that liquid sunshine, or lack thereof.
Nobody wants that at the end of a race day.
No, nobody wants. Everybody's ready to tear down. Half the tents are probably already, if not broken from yesterday's wind gusts, halfway torn apart, trying to get ahead and get ready to move all these trucks and trailers onto the next stop of the tour. Look at this in turn number 5. Wow, are we 2 and 3 abreast here? Schneegenberg and Di Gennaro duking it out at the front of the pack of maybe 15 of them.
Yeah.
Huge fight outside your top 10, or just inside of it.
Xander, I think lucky for Di Gennaro to hold on to that spot. You saw him get shuffled to the outside of turn number 5. A lot of the times when you get pushed that far wide, guys are going to make that move inside you. Here's Walcott going to the inside, looking for an aggressive move up the inside. I think he got that to stick. Further back, McClellan, John McClellan doing exactly the same thing. So a lot of drivers, like I said, throwing haymakers at each other down the inside of turn number 11. They are not concerned at this point about trying to be part of the top 5. They're trying to scrap their way back up and get any possible spot that they can. There's Nathan Goldseth again in that number 723. Here's the lead group trying to pull away, though.
Yeah, we're seeing some more movement again. Ashton Woon's been shuffled back from 3rd to the 5th spot, so big change for Ashton down to P5. Lowest he's been in a main event in X30 Junior this weekend. And now Travis Pettit, Nico Katowski, their lead. What will it be when we get back around to the start-finish line?
It was just under a second. Looks to be like 1.2 or 1.3 right now as that battle behind is allowing them to stretch away. Not the way to get the job done. This time Murphy lining up front. 1.3 seconds indeed. So the leaders are stretching away. A classic 1-2. Try to pull away. We've seen it a bunch of times here throughout the weekend. You have to wait to almost the very last lap, though. Otherwise, you're going to bring everybody back into the fight. They're going to continue to scrap as Royce Vega now goes into P3.
Royce Vega. Do we look at the speed difference from himself to Travis Pettit? It's not much. Now it's going to be a real test. How quick is the 739? Does he have the speed to match his teammate or even go a little better? And do both of them still have enough speed to be able to hang on to the coattails of Nico Katowski here in the early running? Pettit was a little bit off him at the end of the S as he closed back up here in the brake zone. And we're also taking a close look there at the front bumper of Royce Vega. You can see it's pushed down a little bit. Doesn't look to be too loose. I think it might be the same situation as Paulie Massimino. And I wonder, too, how many teams are really trying to lower the front bodywork. There's 3 mounting points, or 3 mounting settings, if you will. There's where you put the bolts on your bumper brackets, and then, of course, where the bracket connects to the front rail. And with the fact that we're really not flying the curbs here at Musselman Honda Circuit compared to other racetracks, you're not worried about grounding out. the lower you can get the clearance, the better you'll be to be able to handle this circuit. And you can see how low everyone's front bumpers are. So even just a little bit of crushing in the air inside of the front bumper could make it look like a pushback's been deployed. And you can see there's basically zero ground clearance on Royce Vega's machine.
Yeah, just tapping that thing off, scraping it off a little bit every time they get around. As it scrapes off, you're going to get the clearance you're looking for. Gap was 1.3 seconds a couple of laps ago. What is it now for the front-running duo to pull away? 1.8. Check one, mission accomplished. Stretch away, make it a two-driver fight. What any driver on the racetrack would be looking for, first and foremost, I'll just pull away by myself. Second, a two-driver battle, and that's what Katowski and Pettit have right now. Katowski was able to close back up, get by, and then the fighting that they've seen for third, fourth, and fifth has allowed these drivers to pull away. Still a long way to go, not even to the halfway point of this yet, but Katowski and Pettit putting down massive laps. Both these drivers, as we know, Xander, with the pace to win races here in this category.
Yeah, they certainly have the speed to be able to get it done, and at this point, it's on full display. This is gearing up to be a mirror image of Saturday's main event with two drivers that have risen above the rest. It's just a difference here of Travis Pettit being met with Nico Katowski on Sunday instead of Ashton Woon, because Woon, again, speed for him out in front and third wasn't that great. That's why Royce Vega and Tristan Murphy have gone by him, but now since changing the order up, they're still losing about a tenth a lap, and we're checking in now here on this middle pack. Nathan Golseth has now gotten to the forefront of it. They have battled so much, though, they've given up already 3.5 seconds, Rob, to Colton Schniegenberg and Enzo Di Gennaro. You can see those two just barely off in the distance, well up the road, and have gotten long a ways from this midfield scrum here, from 9th now onwards, that at one point did include 7th, and even in this pack, you can see the battling further on. 4 of them kind of together, all the way back to the likes of William Vitor, who has gotten around Marco Samet. In fact, Samet now leads that next group, and Vitor is putting the heat on Grayson Wolcott. Wow, that was a lot of contact there going into 11 in the brake zone, Rob.
Well, I always say when you make that move to the bottom of the racetrack or the inside of the racetrack, you've got to brake earlier to be able to make that corner. It's not a 90 degree, it's even back a little bit, almost 110 degrees coming back in that corner. When you get into the back of the bumper like that, or get into that corner, you're on the brake early. The guy behind you needs to realize that, can't drive into you.
And again, we talked about it in KA Master. X30 Junior also has the pushback bumpers removed for this weekend. Their starts have been very clean, but it's the midfield again that you're worried about. And now Vitor, he still couldn't get the better of Grayson Wolcott, but you could see not only in the run into 11, but the run into turn number 1, he was beating down the rear bumper like his life depended on it.
Leader's not doing that at all. They're working together nicely. Katowski and Pettit now 2.3 seconds up, stretching off into the distance. And essentially what they're doing, they're going to give themselves enough room that they may be able to go battling, on lap number 20, 21, and 22. Maybe they'll have enough of a gap that they'll have some fun at the end of this one. Otherwise, it's going to be, again, the last couple of laps when they decide to scrap it out a little bit. Pettit knows he's got the pace to go out front. Katowski knows he can get by as well. So the bottom line is, I don't know that we'll see much testing here. We may still see Pettit try to go to the front earlier than later, but I'll tell you for sure, both these drivers know that they have what it takes to win this race.
Heartbreaking Sunday afternoon here for Team Bennick, at least in the full-size classes so far. Chase Gassiet-Lee with a DNF in KA Senior, and now their junior driver, Troy Ferguson, has made an early exit stage left to the scale line. Meanwhile, in third, fourth, and fifth, Ashton Woon now back to the front of the trio. Tristan Murphy and Royce Vega swapping fourth, put Murphy back in front of Vega. And the three-plate, Ashton Woon, got a victory earlier today in KA Junior to match that second place in X30 Junior from yesterday, to bring home some more hardware to the Speed Concepts Racing Camp. He's in a podium spot again today here in X30 Junior, but he is 3 seconds and counting back from the driver he fought for the race win yesterday, Rob. A frustrating position to be in. Kind of goes back to how we were talking all the way to the Pro Shifter main with Maureen Kremers, right? You have a weekend on Saturday, you're right there fighting for the lead, fighting for the win, and then Sunday you're just a little bit further off. And had the weekend led up to that point, or leading up to that point, been a little bit rougher, you'd be happy. I mean, on paper, if that was day one, you'd be happy. But for Ashton Woon, I'm sure this is going to be a frustrating third if he can hang on to it over Murphy and Vega, because he was so close to the win yesterday.
And his times are so close, Xander. He's not even that far off in terms of his fast pace, right? That's the biggest issue. He knows he's got the pace to run up front. But listen, when you're in the middle of a fight, you're getting checked up and guys are making moves. This track opens up a lot, especially for these single-speed categories. Maybe not so much for the shifter car drivers. They talked about how difficult it was to overtake here. But indeed, in these categories here, you open up the entry, guys can drive down the inside. You don't want that because you feel like you're losing the opportunity to get back up front, but these drivers behind you scrapping for thirds, fourths, and fifth, not thinking about trying to go for race wins.
And here's what's so wild here, looking at the unofficial point standings as well as they run, now past the halfway mark. Ashton Woon and Travis Pettit would be tied if things ended how they are. Look at this as Enzo Di Gennaro sends one down the inside on Fast and Wyatt there. This is the fight for 6th, 7th, and 8th. They've caught and now passed the RPM driver, but a dead tie with Pettit holding the fast lap as they run, with Pettit second and Woon in third. Ever close here. Two drivers that are certainly going to be championship favorites and contenders for really the two powerhouses over the last 2 seasons at X30 Junior, Rob. Speed Concepts Racing and, of course, the class sponsor that have been, at points, filling up the entire top 5, Rollison Performance Group.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Powerhouses in this paddock as well. Nico Katowski with TKG Bureau Art, team that's really stepping themselves to the forefront as well. Got a couple of great young drivers on there, as we know, front runners in the Pro Shifter Kart category as well with Gavin Bailiff. But yeah, when you look at RPG and SCR, these are powerhouse within this program. Great young drivers in their team.
Enzo Di Gennaro has clawed his way to the 6th spot here as we can continue to watch this group. And for them, I mean, lap time wise, look at the last lap of 51.14 for them. The only person they were beaten by was the driver that just took the fast lap honor to the front. First lead change in a minute. Travis Pettit now has taken over and gone past Nico Katowski for the top spot. He'd been stalking him for the first 2/3 of this final, and now he has gone past him. Now, further back here, still lots of battles in action. This is Mateo Calderon with a move on William Vitor. Grayson Walcott looking back to the inside of the JHED livery, the MPG Motorsports entry. All drivers fighting for 9th through 12th at the moment. Nathan Golseth trying to get away from it all in the 9th position. His teammate here in Calderon. That'll make it 3 SCR machines in the top 10 here as they run. Maxwell Macha looking on, a former Supernats champion, Mini Swift following.
Xander, we probably shouldn't be too surprised that Travis Pettit wanted to at least take an opportunity to run up front. You know, you got to see if you have the pace. You're sitting back there. You're on the power, but you know when you're running second, you're kind of off a little bit here, off a little bit there. The draft is working for you. You say to yourself, well, maybe if I was out front, I would be able to stay on throttle here. Maybe I'd be able to pull away. Maybe I'd be quicker through the S's. Pettit looking pretty good coming through the S's right now. He's got about a kart length and a half coming down the back straightaway. The draft, the downhill run is going to help Katowski, but is there an opportunity, you think, for Pettit maybe to break away here?
Yeah, great question. Could Travis Pettit, after taking all that he's learned, stalking Nico Katowski for the middle portion of this main event, be able to use it against him and show what he has in store and what he's been able to keep hidden up until now? Katowski about a car length back from him when they cross the line, still not quite there. You can see the back end of the TKG Bureau Art a little bit more out of shape in the chicane than Pettit was. He's going a little bit wider into turn number 4. Let's see what the lines look like into 5. He goes a little narrower there. The hands still look okay. This will be the big test here in the S's. Does Pettit really pull the gap out? Now I would argue that he is pulling a good bit.
Agreed.
And Katowski kind of tracking about the same as what we've witnessed all weekend when we've had these two driver breakaways. It takes about a full lap for the driver in second to kind of reset and equally clean those tires back off and then mount a counterattack. So Pettit going by, had he gone by maybe with 3 laps to go, might have bought himself enough time, but there's still enough laps with 4 laps remaining for Nico to lock back in.
Yeah, differing lines we're seeing here. I think it feels to me like Pettit's able to keep the car pinned down and a little better on the rotation mid-corner. Yeah, coming out of turn number 11, he was right midway through the track coming up to turn 12 where you could see that Katowski had to push wider, farther to driver's right. Same thing coming through turn 1. Pettit able to rotate it and get back on power and pitch a little more tight on the exits where Katowski's maybe mid-corner understeer a little bit, pushing wide. Yeah, it was. We've been gone from a half a length to a length to 2 lengths to almost 3 lengths right now. Pettit decided to take a shot at it back on lap 17. It'll be 19 in the books when they come back around, and that gap is most definitely pulling away as Pettit trying to stretch out to a race win.
Travis Pettit 2 car lengths up in front now. 3 laps to go. Stretching the gap to nearly a full half second. Nico Katowski really struggling at turn 1 especially, Rob. That back end is just not staying planted for him, and equally the front end just starts to plow from center off. And you can see it now on full display as he's losing further and further touch with the back bumper. He's getting further and further out of the drafting range. I don't know.
Xander, another example of telling a young driver you don't want to just sit there in second the entire race. If there's enough of a gap, you've got to take an opportunity to get by to see if you have the pace to potentially pull away.
Heartbreak end for Brandon Ang. That's the 779 factory kart that has now found its way into the infield of the circuit. As Travis Pettit rounds turn number 12. Flawless performance on Saturday. A completely different batch of track and environmental conditions here on Sunday. We had the heat wave in the afternoon when the shifters were on track that carried us through to K Master. The winds are picking up. You can hear it. The skies have now darkened, and Travis Pettit still seems to be just a cut above the rest as the fight is on for third. Ashton Woon duking it out here with Tristan Murphy, trying to hang on to that final spot on the podium. If he loses that, it'll be an even bigger advantage for Travis. Now with that lead change, that's a 20-point swing in the right direction for the RPG driver out of Mullica Hill, New Jersey. Rolling through the S's here with a lap and a quarter to go. 3-way fight looming for the final spot on the podium. And the top 2, it seems like the fighting there may have subsided, so we'll keep our eyes here for the moment. Woon way low into 11.
Royce Vega back there waiting to clean up the garbage. If these guys take each other out, you try a wider run. He's trying to signal to Murphy to go to work. Let's get by here. They're going to try to battle for P3. There it is. Vega still right there. Woon holding the spot, looking over the shoulder, covers off the inside of turn 3. It's going to make it a little tougher to get through that corner. He has to go all the way to the bottom, Xander.
He has to go way low. We're hearing as well, meatball flag has been issued for the Speed Concepts racing machine of Mateo Calderon. And now through turn number 5, Ashton Woon, Tristan Murphy, and Royce Vega, 3, 4, 5, through the S's for the final time. As Travis Pettit's lead continues to grow, the Hurricane strikes again, and this time it's a twofer. A sweep of the weekend in X30 Junior for Travis Pettit. He doubles up in Tucson. It is Katowski second, and the run to the line for third goes the way of Ashton Woon. Royce Vega fourth. Tristan Murphy rounds your top 5. And what a performance. Both days of action, Rob, for this young man. Huge, huge weekend. And talk about setting the tone for the 2026 season. Travis Pettit, Rollison Performance Group, the standard in X30 Junior on both days of action here at the Winter Nationals.
Pettit, Katowski, Woon, Vega, and Murphy, the top 5. Great job for Royce Vega there as well, getting by Murphy on the final lap to move himself up to 4th. Endo G. Gennaro ending up in 6th. Aston Wyatt in 7th. Colton Schniegenberg in 8th. Ethan Goldseth and Maxwell Macha round out the top 10. Not a lot of massive movers, double-digit movers really. Everybody essentially 2, 3, 4, 5 positions forward.
So there you go. Travis Pettit leads a calm ending to a race that was gearing up once again to be a 1v1 fight. And in those final few laps, that extra bit of speed he was saving up through laps 1 to 18 gets unloaded on the driver he's duking it out with. Yesterday was Ashton Woon. Today was Nico Katowski. It makes no difference. It's the 729 that reigns supreme. And on the other end of the spectrum here, Rob, as we look back through a handful of DNFs, Brandon Ang out late, Troy Ferguson, Christopher Goulet, and Charlie Marone out of the final. Mateo Calderon got a meatball flag. Crossed the line up and in the top 10. He's since been dropped. It promotes Maxwell Macha up to 10th. Nathan Golseth 9th. Schniegenberg in 8th. So a change there, and we're unsure what the meatball was for. But we are sure the checkers were for the field and for this driver out in front. Travis Pettit, your double winner in X30 Junior.
Good job.
Hey, good job. Hey, you won one? That's right. Well, there you go. Hey, Mark.
a lot of racing the next 2 weeks.
Well, Travis Pettit, our winner here at the end of the X30 Junior main event. And Travis, right behind him, gonna have to catch up with him. Here, we'll move outside here, get out of the way. But again, on track, 2 for 2 on race wins. We'll turn around here for Kyle real quick. Talk to me about that race. Got ahead of Nico, just pulled away a step above the rest of the field. Travis, tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The start of the race, it was good. I mean, tires didn't really come in that quick, but at the end it paid off. But yeah, I just kept chipping away, and it was going faster and faster.
Who would you like to thank, Travis, back on the top step of the podium here on Sunday?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my family watching back at home, Rollison Performance Group, my mechanic Brady, and Alex Vincent Performance.
There you go. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
So I'll stand corrected here, Rob. That was a great catch as well. Obviously, you did the podiums. We were tearing down. Travis Pettit did cross the line first yesterday. Unfortunately, got a jump start penalty. So today, hopefully this one will stick. First across the line on both days, Travis Pettit, your winner in X30 Junior. Phenomenal drive to get it done. Just had it all covered.
I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now, this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Motorsport is reinventing itself, and our mission is to accelerate this transformation so that it becomes even more efficient, cleaner, more spectacular, and more sustainable. Welcome to the next generation.
Welcome back to Musselman Honda Circuit. 2 more main events remain from the Superkarts USA Winter Nationals out here in the desert. Mini Swift, presented by Mega Power Engines, is ready to go green. Max Santana and Dutch Westbrook, and all Team Bennick front row here, Rob, ahead of Connor Lipka and Hudson Howard.
Colton Brucker to start P5 alongside one of the drivers who was in the fight yesterday, Lucas Tarango. It'll be Mason Brody, yesterday's winner. Starting in 7th alongside Kimo Ahmad in the Kid X number 111.
Cole Harris and Axel Tibbs back on row number 5. Harris aboard the Ital Corsa America machine. Row number 6, Forrest Blair on the inside. Liam Astalis on the outside in the Kid X Performance Kart Republic. And it's Lachlan Postel and Aiden Go on row 7.
Jake Manalio was in the fight up front as well. He'll have to start P15. Could need a big jump for Manalio to get back to where he was as well. Sammy Alterchet Sanchez will be in the 16th spot. Matthew Pachuli starting 17th alongside Chase Rittering.
Final 2 rows for your Mini Swift class. See Samuel Chavery on the inside of row number 10. Jet Fisher on the CRG with Precision Works Racing support in 20th. And the final row of the grid with a long road ahead today. Look at this. Brody Stoffel and the Ryan Perry Motorsport Nitro kart rolling from P21. Caden Cladera, heartbreaker for him in the pre-final as well on his Velocity Racing Sodi. They had a great start to the afternoon. Let's see if they can be brought to their feet and be cheering as Cladera and Brody start from the back. And here we go up front. Mini Swift is green from Tucson.
Let's see what kind of a run around from P2 we can get there from Dutch Westbrook. Is he going to come out P3? He's down to the inside. Connor Lipka's there. He's going to try to go all the way through to the bottom of the racetrack. Great job for Dutch Westbrook. The lead goes to Santana, but Westbrook, who got shoveled back a little bit, went way around the inside, outside to come away with P2. A solid run by Westbrook to put it Bennett Xander 1-2.
Yeah, that'll maintain the front pace, Rob. I'm not going to lie to you here during this opening lap. We're right now based over in the entry to turn number 12. And for a second, the smell of burnt clutches coming by us, I mistook here for our generators. Had a heart in my throat moment that there was something wrong with us, but no, that slow start down the backstretch here, we've got a lot of roasted clutch pads. I wonder what that'll do to the racing action, if anyone else is going to have a mechanical issue because of it, as they cycle across the line for the first time. 1 down, 19 to go. Jake Manolio into the dirt trying to jockey for position in the midfield. Watch him on that pink helmet there on the red and black nitro kart, digging down the inside in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He is up on it very quickly. I said that he started so far back as he was right in the middle of that fight with the 3 RPM drivers alongside Westbrook yesterday, but a deeper start for him. Right now, things are finally lining up. The 2 Bennett drivers, 1-2. Tarango drops a wheel coming out of the corner as well. Here comes the 109 of Mason Brody. He'll throw it to the inside there to try to take a spot away. Brody with that win yesterday ahead of Manalio, right back into the fight. Not quite enough to get the spot, but he is getting racy up there in that lead group.
As they roll down the back straightaway, look at this. Way down low for Connor Lipka. Hudson Howard trying to fend him off. He does, through 11, through 12, onto the front straightaway.
Do we have ourselves a little 4-driver breakaway? Indeed we do. Westbrook, Santana, Brook, and Brody. Great run today for Colton Brook as he is right up in the middle of it now. You got to go back to 9th yesterday for Brook, top 10 already. At pace to potentially go top 5, top 3, or even a race win. Brook right in there with RPM.
Side by side for third, 2 and 3 abreast in that second group, and off the racetrack out of the front group, Colton Brook, the first one to drop a tire, kick up some dust. There were a few more behind him that did the same. Working lap number 3, still with the Bennetts up front, but a dust cloud kind of misting across our screen, if you will, covering that second half of the field. But they're still mostly connected. I mean, Colton Brook fell back a little ways in the top 3, but he's bridging that gap back to Howard's group for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th of Aiden Go. And the top 3, 2 Bennetts, and RPM Nitro now in the form of Mason Brody, pushing him along, looking to split him up. Down into 1 with a look to the inside of Max Santana, a little contact. No change in position, but that then backs them up to Brook and gives Dutch Westbrook a bit of a lead.
Yeah, Santana didn't like that, decided to come across a little bit and just turn into the corner, and a little bit of right front to left rear tap. Both drivers able to continue on unscathed, although it did open things up a little bit. Brody finally able to get by Santana into turn number 4, and that's actually allowed Colton Brook to come back into second. Able to get by both of those drivers, put Brook back to P2.
Slick move for Colton Brook. Highest he's been all weekend on the 120 Parolin. And as we look on the opening lap for some of the biggest moves here, again, Jake Manolio, you saw him doing everything he could to go forward. He's up 5 there to the 10th spot. Here's Mason Brody making a move to the inside. And for the drivers started at the back, Brody Stoffel already up 8, 13th and digging, trying to go further forward from the final row of the field. Let's see where he jumps up to now. That's another one. 9 up to 12, almost into the spotlight, but we really can't take a moment to go back because things are crazy up here. Max Santana taking Colton Brook all the way up to the berm where the banking ends, and Aiden Go on the gas with the fast lap last time as the seas part in front of him now gets into third.
+9 as well, or maybe +10 now for Aiden Go. Fantastic drive for Go, working his way forward here, taking advantage of the openings. Aiden Go in the 198 Parolin there. Yeah, he's pointing forward. Let's go, let's go. Line him up.
This is good stuff for Aiden Go here as the field works its way out of turns 9 and 10. Can he lead them back up to the top 2 that have separated? They're all by their lonesome. Mason Brody by himself, Dutch Westbrook by himself. That's good news for everybody through the top 10 that this race could easily come back together, but they've got to line up in some formation, and right now it seems like they cannot decide what that formation should be. Look at this. Into turn 1. Brook going to lose 1, 2. It'll stop there just for the moment, although Jake Manolio and him kind of got tangled up a little bit on the exit. And Lucas Durango is going to look to go by his teammate Manolio further back as we check in here with Connor Lipka and Hudson Howard. Check it out. Lipka to the inside of Howard. Bruck trying to defend and hang on in front of Manolio and company. Howard looking to go back.
Damn.
All kinds of chaos going.
Look at the chassis up front as well. Bennick, Nitro, Parolin, Bennick, Parolin, Kart Republic. Comp Kart in there as well.
This is great stuff here, folks, as we watch them now. The mini Swifts back down the straightaway again. Quarter of the way through. There's Brody Stoffel in the gray and black helmet on the 129. That'll be another spot, this time on his teammate, Lucas Tarango. That should put him officially in the top 10. Halfway done. Job still left on the table, though, for the other half of it, and it'll be the tougher part. Getting through this gaggle especially.
I was going to say, look at these guys with their elbows up. Lipka, Howard, Santana. Again, you got to place your kart in the right spot. You have to have a little bit of patience. And right now, Westbrook's not pulling that much away. There's comes another move to the inside for Stoffel. Does he get to the inside of Bruck? I think he may have got by Bruck there.
Indeed. Brody Colton Bruck back another
Colton
one.
Bruck.
Now another one. He goes backwards down the board. This is still fighting. This is with a GFC machine, a Forrest Blair. He's all the way to the back end of the top 10, mind you. He was second just a couple of laps ago. Tough backwards slide. I shouldn't say horrific. This race could change in an instant. We've seen that already many times.
Yeah, I guess you got hung out to dry in a couple of the outside runs, and nothing you can do about that. Again, we saw him kind of get pinched a little bit at the X01 in one of those incidents as well. So he's just been kind of bleeding a couple of spots here and there. There's Howard leading that next group. A couple of the RPM drivers are finally hooking up. That is the 129, Stoffel, and the 191 of Manalio. Those were the drivers who were up front battling with Dutch Westbrook yesterday, starting deeper in the field. They've got to get themselves up 7th and 8th last time across the stripe. Stoffel had gone purple, fastest driver on the racetrack as well. He's now chasing down the 119 of pole sitter Max Santana.
That 10-point bonus will help make this day a little bit better for Brody Stoffel. Obviously, no points scored from that pre-final, but that 10 points there, plus now into 7th with plenty of time to continue to march up the board. Of course, he's got slightly fresher tires. I doubt that'll make a huge impact. It just goes to show that if you've got speed and a driver willing to keep his head on and make the right decisions early, you can make up for starting from the back and work your way up the field. Here he goes on the bumper of Santana. This will be for another position with help from Jake Manolio. Santana doesn't want to give it up. He's got no choice.
Yeah.
They'll both get by.
Yeah, you knew that Manolio was going to force the issue. Locked onto his teammate's bumper. We're coming through. Anybody that's been driven before, you've been in that spot, you're saying it. We're coming, we're going. I'm going with you, let's go. And if the guy in front of you thinks about maybe I don't do it, you're telling him he's going. You're going to push him through as well. What is that in the bottom side of that screen?
I don't know. The race yesterday was so good, I don't know if I want to see it. A couple of races today might have been cool to see something throw a wrench at the drivers. Rain tires rolling up on the kart stands just to stay prepared. Again, the overcast skies continue to threaten, but we have kept everything fully dry on the black stuff so far. 9 laps now in the books this time by. There you can see a very small cell above us. A bigger wave is forming well out to the west. But I don't think it's going to reach us, even if it were continuing to the east for another hour or so. It would have to be tracking pretty fast to get there, but better to be safe than sorry, especially for the teams on the expanded paddock. On the backstretch coming out of turn 10, long push or a long sprint. That'll have your mechanic well out of breath to have to run back to the pit lane, so better to roll up and be prepared.
Brody Stoffel got the hand in the air. He's focused, pointing forward. Let's go, let's go. He's got Manalio behind him right now. They know that they've got a gap that they've got to dig into. Right now, we're only closing on the halfway point. They're working lap number 10 now, so this will be the halfway point, but your leaders have that kind of a lead right now. That is Westbrook and Brody. 2.1 seconds was the lead to Aiden Go last time by. Go plus 11, Stoffel plus 15. Two really impressive performances by these young drivers. The Parolin driver Aiden Go up into the 3rd spot last time by a 56.6. Stoffel 56.3. 3/10 faster, a second back. That's only 3 laps to potentially get up there to battle for the podium.
Yeah, that's just a little bit more speed here, a little bit more time. It has been so good at the start of the session for Brody Stoffel. Will it hold all the way through to the end here is the question, Rob, because again, they have been tracking phenomenally well in the 1:29 when you look at the lap charts. And now with a wingman in the form of Jake Manolio, as we see down on the grid, the number of Pro X30 drivers getting ready to do battle. All the All-Stars queued up for one last dance here in the desert, halfway in and halfway home now in the Mega Power Racing Engines Mini Swift main event. A 2-driver breakaway, now up to over 3 seconds back to Aiden Go. We don't know when they'll begin to battle up front. It probably won't be for a little bit longer. That, of course, keeps our focus back here, but the sooner it breaks out, the better the odds that Brody Stoffel could do the unthinkable, Rob, and go from the last row of the grid to the top step of the podium. Here he is to get onto the podium. Into turn 4, Brody Stoffel makes the move stick for third, and Manolio continues to follow, and the forward march and momentum doesn't get upset one bit right there. Perfect move for both.
So great to have a teammate that's going to work with you like that, and I think Manolio realized that Stoffel is the guy leading the way. The pace is there. They were a couple of hundredths of a second faster than the leaders that last time by. They were, that said though, 4.1 seconds behind the lead with 9 laps remaining. It'll be 8 laps. In fact, when they come back around, we'll look more at lap times. You can see them there visually. That is first and second, then third and fourth. Go, still a fantastic drive, +9 into the 5th spot. But we are 100% putting the focus on Brody Stoffel and Jake Manolio. Do they have the pace? Can they work together? And do we finally see a bit of a battle? I will say this, Xander, Dutch Westbrook just turned the fastest lap, but it's not 2 Bennicks up front. It's not like it's 2 guys that will work together for the entire race. It's a Bennick and it's an RPM Nitro. Those 2 drivers are going to battle it out. Sooner or later, Mason Brody's going to want to fight here, and that may be what it takes for Stoffel and Manolio to get back into the hunt.
The question will be, will it look as gnarly as this? Max Santana's had the elbows out, it feels like, from the green flag dropping on the front straightaway over 12 and a half laps to go. Now he's in the middle of about a 7-driver scrum. This is the 111 looking to go by him with help from Connor Lipka. Door to door, Lipka and Santana collide. Max Santana cutting through the inside and all over the rocks and debris, and that'll be blown onto the front of the racetrack for the leaders next time by as well. Lucas Tarango gets away with the position out of the pack, and that broke them all up completely. Forrest Blair, Colton Bruck, the FDM and Chase Rittering involved in this grouping here, battling, and along with that, Kimo Ahmad on the Kid X Performance Machine. Look at this replay here. Down the inside, I mean, they were wheel to wheel, and then I don't know, Rob, that's a tough one here. What do you think?
I complete the 5th on that one. I don't know that I want to comment. Hey, listen,
come on.
We've seen the contact there.
No, fair enough.
To me, just quick look, looks like Connor Lipka probably let the car drift a little bit to the wide, but he also they were wheel to wheel. You've been in side by side with a guy where the wheel, you just simply can't turn it back because you're side by side. I've had that before where you're pushing out, you're really trying to jerk it back, and because you're wheel to wheel, you can't do it. So
yeah, I mean, you're playing a game of who blinks, right? You're trying to open your hands and get him to get off the throttle or to brush the brake pedal or to move further out into the marbles. But if neither of you give, and it's all take, once those tires touch, at that point, there's nothing you can do, and more than likely you go the direction that the front nose is pointed, and they both were pointed basically where Max Santana went.
The tires, once they grab, start to camber into each other, right? They start to grab each other, and there's not much you can do at that point there. I'll say, personally, I'm thrilled that the driver who got pushed off didn't get into one of the tires there, because you could see there was a bunch of stuff off track.
Oh yeah, I mean that is a wild ride for Max Santana. He's already been involved, obviously, in some argy-bargy stuff earlier in the race when he was fighting tooth and nail with everything he could to stay in the front pack, and unfortunately, he's been dealt certainly a rough go of this main event now with 5 laps remaining, finding himself outside the top 10 down in 14th. Here's a look at what remains of that pack he was in. Still remains is Kimo Ahmad at the front of it on the Kid X Kart Republic. Over to Rango in 8th, Colton Bruck in 9th, Forrest Blair in 10th. They're still battling it out. I mean, they're not terribly far away from Hudson Howard, who's all by himself, but there is too much infighting going on, I think, with not enough time left in the race to be able to bring that gap back down. And now Kimo gets fed a wheel. Into the dirt he goes. Gloves off.
I'll tell you this too, unless the leaders start battling, we got a 2-man fight to the end, because Stoffel has been good, but 46.2, his lap times are off. They're 4.4 seconds away from Brody and Westbrook. They are not closing. Second and third, or third and fourth rather, are not closing on the leaders. You can see the gap is stretching. Finally, we got the first move down to the bottom. Oh, unless this happens.
Oh no, Mason Brody, he cut a break there for Dutch Westbrook, who slammed the door and really crowded him tight. Didn't want to throw the race away, but it might have just really hurt his. Look at the gap that just opened up. Best case scenario for his teammate Brody Stoffel to get a little bit of life support to bridge that gap back down. It's still massive. Maybe not the best thing. You might have needed just back and forth action for 4 continuous laps, but pressure is on now for Mason Brody to get back up to Dutch Westbrook. Yesterday, obviously, Dutch Westbrook was outnumbered 3-1 at points throughout the main event. Now, odds equaled out, 50-50. Bennick versus Ryan Perry Motorsport, Nitro Kart. And Brody is reeling him back in. He didn't waste any time at all. Pressure was on this past lap through sectors 2 and 3, and he certainly nailed him, closing the gap back down to a car length.
He's got the outright pace, let's put it that way. He was right there, biding his time, made a move into turn number 1. I almost wonder, was 1 the best place to make that move, right? Westbrook obviously wanted to defend. It's a lot harder to defend that move to the inside here in turn number 4. You're not going to have that side-by-side action. That's where the pass needed to happen in the first place. It happens on the second opportunity as well.
You see Dutch Westbrook tap, I couldn't tell if he was trying to tap his helmet or wave his hand in the air at Mason Brody. They've got still a huge gap, but it did close down a bit. 4 seconds, 3 laps to go. It'll be the double sticks this time. How hard are we going to go at it here, fellas? How much defending do we want to do? Mason Brody looking low. Dutch is saying, dude, don't worry about it. Open your hands back up. Let's get back to doing what we're doing to make sure at least the worst either of us finishes is second. 2 laps to decide it all here in Mini Swift for the round 2 final. Behind him, third and fourth are doing everything they can to close it up. Another half second down. Brody continues to white line. Good news for them. Westbrook with a textbook crossover to get the lead back.
Yeah, I don't think Westbrook wanted any kind of early battling. He wanted to be able to run straight together.
Well, because he knows who's back in third and fourth. It's another couple of Mason's teammates.
I've done this before. I've done this dance. I don't want you guys to have your RPM drivers, your teammates coming up here with me, but that was a beautiful over-under, as you said, Xander. Just crossed him perfectly on the apex, gets back in front.
Oh, wow.
Big wreck there for the 190.
Huge contact there.
That's Paciulli.
Yeah, Matthew Paciulli on the HRT driver development entry. Destroyed left side. I wonder what happened there. He was running with Samuel Chavery and Max Santana. Meanwhile, Westbrook covering low again. Brody now on the attack. White flag this time. Yellow's down in turn number 1. I don't know if that's out early enough for the leaders to see it, that they can't pass here. Westbrook's going to cover off anyway to play it safe. And that will be the smart play. Now to turn 2. Can Mason Brody pick his pocket? He's looking again. No, he pulls back out. Crossover. Watch the run here into turn number 4.
Right down to the bottom of the racetrack for Westbrook. Here comes the over-under. Brody will try to get the better run. We've seen a couple of runs, Xander, around the outside of 5. Not going to happen this time. He's got to tuck back in. Oh, way wide on the exit there. Early entry, tougher exit for Westbrook. This is where I think Brody may be a little bit better coming through this final corner.
Westbrook definitely missed the apex a tick. He kind of 4-wheel slid it out to the runoff. They are nose to tail. Third and fourth are closing. Brody all the way to the white line. Opens back up in the last second. Fight for third as well. Mason Brody to the high side. Crossover. Big run for Brody. They'll drag race. Mason Brody gets the win. The first successful crossover out of turn 12 happens on the second to last session of the weekend. Mason Brody gets it done and breaks Dutch Westbrook's heart in the last 100 feet, Rob.
Wow, Westbrook went full to the inside to defend. Big outside run for Brody. Able to get the car to rotate on the turn in. Back up the outside, the over-under coming in, and with the karts here maybe a little slower, it means a little bit longer run time-wise down to the start-finish line. The margin of victory, 60 thousandths of a second. Brody, Westbrook, and then Stoffel. Your podium unofficially here right now. Jake Manalio did a great job, the wingman to his teammate Stoffel. He ends up P4. Aiden Go, +9 to 5th. That's +18 for Brody Stoffel as well. An amazing drive from deep in the field. Howard ends up at 6th. Blair 7th. Brooke, Ahmad, and Tarango round out the top 10. What a final lap. What a final. Complex of corners. big victory for Mason Brody.
You can see they're suited up. Joe Turney, hot off the win from yesterday, is getting set to lead this stacked Nash Motorsports Pro X30 Field to Green. We'll be back with the final main event from Tucson for the SKUSA Winter Nationals.
Motorsport is reinventing itself, and our mission is to accelerate this transformation so that it becomes even more efficient, cleaner, more spectacular, and more sustainable. Welcome to the next generation of motorsport. TotalEnergies and Peugeot co-developed the 9X8, an eco-responsible hybrid electric hypercar capable of outstanding performances.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCare.com. At ShopPayCare.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCare.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Welcome back to the Kart Chaser coverage of the SKUSA Winter Nationals. Rob, for the final time this weekend, now with a couple of sessions under our belt, let's take another look here at some of the most notable points here on our Kart Class preview of this 12-turn circuit.
Yeah, we've run you around the track before, but let's look at passing opportunities. There are a lot of them, as we've seen throughout the weekend. 1 for sure. 2, the shifter drivers were loving that. 4, lots of over-unders. 5, we had a couple of drivers both go inside and run the outside through turn number 5. We saw a good move there in turn number 9 as well, the move down to the bottom of the racetrack. And, of course, down into turn number 11, a lot of moves. And how about just this last race we just saw with a fantastic run in minis? Turn number 12, the over-under getting done by Mason Brody as well. So many overtake opportunities. It's not a technically challenging racetrack. The flow is there, but the racecraft come to the forefront. The passing opportunities are mighty here at Musselman Honda Circuit.
And we saw a great display of that in yesterday's pre-final and the main event. The pre-final for Pro X30 today even gave us a whole lot to talk about. But most notably, Joe Turney has been flawless so far today. Oh, problems on the grid. Chase Cassioli able to get underway. We'll get to him here in a moment. He starts a little further back. It is an all-British-born front row. Oliver Hodgson now flying under the American flag. The Arizona-based driver starts ahead of Sean Butcher on his second ever Superkarts USA weekend. My pick to win for this morning, and Jake Drew on his outside.
Number of British-born drivers here. We got Gus Lawrence as well starting P5 alongside the American Keegan Kaminsky. Followed by that, we'll have the Mexican Donovan Bonilla and Jake Craig back again, P8 for the veteran driver.
How about it? Ryan Norberg, Paulie Massimino, your top 10. As the final few rows continue to roll, let's go down to Caleb Vieska here for one last bit of intel from the pit lane.
Yeah, just a quick weather update here as I'm standing trackside. We have wind gusts up to 12 miles an hour here, Xander, in climbing, and it's a crosswind on the front straightaway as we get ready to go green.
You can see it has certainly lowered the track temp here, Rob. It's about to heat back up, though. Let's get ready for it. Pro X30, 22 laps, put it on the board from Tucson. We're ready for the round 2 main, and we are green.
Watching Hodgson from the outside. Where does he end up? P2 not the best place to be. I think he is going to get into the P3 position likely. Yeah, going to have to hold back a couple of GFCs to get that job done. Big start for Joe Turney, not surprisingly at all. Right behind him, Sean Butcher, able to take advantage of that. Stacking him up further back. Look at this. Drivers on top of each other, Xander, coming out of turn number 4. A lot of contact. Aiden and Grada elbows out, trying to get there through. The guys in the top threat 4, 5, 6, they're lucky to get through. Everybody else still 2 by 2, trying to find the line through the S's.
There you see Donovan Bonilla. He had an over-under to go 3 wide for a minute, then pulled back in. I think the biggest casualty, and we'll see it when the leaderboard updates at the end of the opening lap, was James Overbeck getting sent all the way to the back of the 45 driver plus field in turn number 1. Other than that, best start so far for the outside lane here after a gnarly start to the pre-final and equally gnarly start to yesterday's main. But underway we go, down to the inside, a couple of moves here. Jake Craig and Diego Ramos going by. That was on Remy Andriatos. And the battling continuing in the midfield as Joe Turney and Sean Butcher away early with the lead to Hodgson to Kaminsky with an impressive rookie performance on display right now. Jake Drew, his teammate, then Lawrence. Much better start than yesterday. He was 35th at this point.
I believe Norberg just got by Bonilla to go into the top 10. Ryan Norberg trying to salvage what has been a tough weekend thus far for the multi-time Superkarts USA Pro Tour champion. Let's see where he slots in coming out there. Yeah, he's got a position inside the top 10 right now. A number of drivers pushing hard. There's Norberg there. Right behind him, the drivers rolling up. Hernandez, Sarfati, and Andriatos.
So a start for him, and here's what'll tighten the rest of your top 10 up. New leader, first lead change of the day. Sean Butcher takes over down at turn 1 here at the end of lap number 2. That'll bring Hodgson into the mix. And again, can't say enough how impressive it is for Keegan Kaminsky working his way towards the top 3 here. A bummer end to the day 1 events for him among many. But he's inside the top 5 comfortably. Behind him, his teammate seems to have lost the 5th spot. Move Gus Lawrence up into the top 5. He looked mighty fast yesterday, but in talking with Joe Turney at the end of the day, he said he felt like the strongest car in the pre-final was Oliver Hodgson. And while he wasn't able to track Turney and Massimino down yesterday, he's right there on the heels of JT right now.
I don't think it should come as any surprise to Xander that Butcher is the driver out front. You picked him this morning when we had our pre-show to get the win here. I went with Turney. And Caleb going with Massimino. Our driver is currently 1-2. We'll pick up where Massimino is further back. He's at 18th right now. Work to be done for Pauly, but you'll be sure that he'll be coming forward. Front 3 drivers, though. Look at these drivers, Xander. I like what they're doing now. Stand together. Turney's just that kind of guy. I talked about the fact in the pre-show, he's just so calm. When he's confident like this, he just takes his time. Somehow he finds his way to the front near the end. There's just veteran drivers here that you'd be most happy to go wheel to wheel with. They're not going to wreck you here early on.
Certainly. They're all trying to feel each other out and just ride at a good pace here, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Hodgson is in no rush, it appears, to make the move on Turney. Turney the same on Sean Butcher. Happy to let him lead the way, be the first one to clear a path for them all to get through. I think the driver on the move, though, is Lawrence. As he continues to close up to these 3, he might be the first one to really break things up, or if either one of the drivers in second or third sense it, make a move to be proactive and not be the first one that Lawrence gets to, because he just went purple. Fast time on the circuit, going the way of the 7 plate. The 2 GFCs behind him. Ruben Moya with a good start. Up from 19th to the 7th position is the Pantano for FDM. Macy Williams, so close to a top 5 yesterday. She's running solidly in the top 10. Then it's Aiden Ingrata, and then Norberg, Bonilla, Ramos, Sarfati, Lucas Hernandez, and again Massimino started in the teens after getting booted to the rear of the field in that pre-final. He is having to charge back forward because I think he was among many that where the pack kind of really sent James Overbeck to the rear. It broke up around 8th to 18th there in turn 1 on this start. So he was one of the many drivers shuffled down the leaderboard. There he goes through turn 12 as indeed Gus Lawrence is the one to break things up. First move, moving to 3rd.
Slides down the inside of Hodgson into turn number 1. So Lawrence, the man on the move early. You see right back there is Jake Drew. He's been able to get by Kaminsky. Drew is the driver P5. I'm very intrigued watching what Moya did. He is very comfortable in the KA here, coming away with the victory there. That's got to transfer somehow into this Pro X30 category. Just the ability to get the job done on the racetrack. Super fast en route to his win there. And again, he's not that far back. There he is there, running in the 7th position. Behind him, Macy Williams, then Aiden Ingrata. We'll see whether or not he can get that Pontano to work its way closer. He's got to get by a couple of GFC cars first if he wants to battle it up here with the front-running 4 drivers.
Turning to the inside. Waited a number of laps, and JT goes back to the front right as Gus Lawrence was bearing down on him. He almost has that 6th sense, it appears, Rob. Ryan Norberg called it beautifully at the end of last summer with another one of Turney's wins, that he could tell when the driver was closing in and eager to fight for the win, he would go to the lead. Sean Butcher, realizing the same, goes back in on him in turn 4.
So a couple RPG drivers flanking the MPG Kart Republic probably got Kart Republic on the Alonso this weekend for Joe Turney. Let's see what happens here. Again, early on, we are working lap number 7 of 22, so a long way to go in this one still. I will give it up for Jake Drew. He has got himself up to the tail of that group. In fact, he's got some breathing room as well. And in fact, I think, Macy Williams able to get by Moya. So move Macy Williams now back up into the 7th spot.
Now as they roll, already out of turn number 1 and 2, Ruben Moya, Macy Williams.
Back by.
There we go, Gus Lawrence, Oliver Hodgson. He's waited there in 3rd, and how about Jake Drew? He's been tracking them both down. Nice move to almost get up to 4th, but make it 5 officially in the lead pack.
Hodgson goes back to 3rd on the factory cart. Good stuff up front here now as, again, Turney, we talked about his desire to get in the lead and get away from everyone. Who else we've got coming further back as well?
That's Ryan Norberg and Donovan Bonilla and Aiden Ingrata. They're all tracking 0.3 quicker than the race leaders right now. Even though they battled last lap, they are closing in slowly but surely. The whole top 10's tightening up. Hodgson right now with a run towards Butcher, and Turney starting to break away a little bit here on lap number 9.
Yeah, make it 3 GFCs in the top 10 with Bonilla. Losing the spot there to Norberg. So Norberg up into 10th, then Drew and Kaminsky 5th and 6th. Paulie Massimino just turned fast lap of the race. He was 18th a number of laps ago, now 15th spot, half a second behind Nico Sarfati. So Paulie Massimino continues to push to try to get himself back forward. There is going to be racing up front before this is all done, so you've got to keep pushing here, try to get yourself into the top 10, see if you can't be there to take advantage of when the chaos starts to happen.
For Ruben Moya and Macy Williams, they're going to have to deal with Aiden Ingrata here in a moment. 2 packs kind of separating right now. Drew losing a little touch for 3rd as Lawrence and Hodgson continue to ride nice and close to the back of Sean Butcher. Williams and Moya able to get the better of Kaminsky down in turn number 1 now. Move Keegan back 2 spots. Here comes Ingrata. Here comes a challenge for the lead. Double passing in turn 4. Sean Butcher and Gus Lawrence both moving up 1 spot apiece.
Turney slotting back into the 2nd position. Top 5 drivers have a little bit of breathing room right now, about 0.7 of a second. Back to what is now Moya over Williams and Kaminsky. Norberg lost a spot. He's got that kind of back and forth with Bonilla going here for 10th and 11th.
But they have closed in quite a ways here as we see the heavens above. You can see the rain off in the distance. It's been threatening all day. It continues to threaten now. Halfway in, next time by. Still a long ways to go as Ruben Moya and Macy Williams try to make some more inroads towards the leaders. They only were able to match them last time, even with the position change. However, every position change obviously leapfrogs the man in 2nd forward, so it's really the gap to them. Lawrence now makes an RPG 1-2. Pass done on Turney, and Sean Butcher continues to lead, continues to impress, and this could be the day for him on try number 4 here in the Pro X30 category. Try number 6 in the States last weekend. Left a lot to be sought after for sure. He was struggling to find the speed that he had on Friday afternoon at the America's Trophy, but in the X30 class, where the RPG contingent have been the gold standard over the last number of seasons, Gus Lawrence and Sean Butcher now lead the way, and they are duking it out for the top spot. Lawrence, your new leader in 1.
Yeah, to the bottom of the racetrack again. Gus Lawrence goes up front. What's that mean for the drivers in behind? They're battling back and forth. It's going to give them an opportunity to potentially close up. Massimino up into 13th right now. First by Sarfati, then by Alexander Vanchev. So a little further back there. What's happened there?
I don't know if Jake Drew hit something or something just flew off.
He was looking back at it.
Yeah. It certainly caught him off guard. You saw a black piece just fly behind him, and he lost a ton of ground. I wonder what kind of debris that was. The GoPro's still on the go-kart. He's checking the rear tires. All looks okay. Yeah, he must have run over something, because everything else seems to be all in. Well, all the pieces seem to be moving that are supposed to be moving. Nothing else that shouldn't be. Here's Hodgson looking for third as Turney has tracked back down Lawrence. Sean Butcher back to 4th now by the end of the lap.
Well, I'll tell you this. Lots of drivers want to lead here.
See if we can see what it is here. Coming out of the corner. Oh, dude, it's like something. I think that was a brake caliper. That looks like a brake rotor, like it just exploded off the back of Jake Drew's GFC. One of the two.
Let's see that again if possible.
Yeah, we'll have to really analyze that one for sure. Gus Lawrence, take another look at this, Rob. Look at the right rear, well, really the left rear where it comes off. If he doesn't hit something, to me, that looks like it could have been a rotor.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah, they're trying to pick it up there.
It's like it just completely sheared, like a total part failure there.
He's still running strong, though. I don't know that you're going to be able to do that.
Well, I wonder again if it was just one side of it. Obviously, he's still got braking ability. No, it was the chassis saver. That's what it was. It could equally have been the bumper savers underneath the frame rails as well, bottoming out through the corner. It would make sense if it was coming off the right side underneath the 329. There you see it again, a little bit of sparks there flying.
Great shot. Yeah, look at that. You're right. Great shot from the KC camera crew picking that up.
So maybe, again, the frame rail. So that would make more sense as well for the kart to still be handling good, because the lap times have been good. I mean, for it to shear in half like that and still be working would be nearly impossible to manage.
Yeah.
But for Jake Drew, from the rear, again, there's a number of rubber or metal pieces these drivers and teams will run underneath the frame rails at most of the contact points. Both right around the fuel tank on the frame tray, right on the front rail, and 2, potentially you can run on the rear rails. And if that's what broke off, that's a non-performance piece right there. If anything, that kart might be a little flat-bottomed, but for this session, it's going to be a little bit faster.
What it means right now is Lawrence is out front, Turney running second, Hodgson and Butcher third. Drew's got work to do to close back up, 1.1 seconds back. He's getting chased on here by Macy Williams and Ruben Moya. Kaminsky runs in 8th, Ramos up to 9th. And Paulie Massimino has worked his way up into 10th position. He's the fastest driver on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, he is just continuing to fly here. You can see him top of the screen. He's got a lot of real estate before he'll get up to Ramos. Needs the end of this race to really come unglued, to have a shot at the podium or even the top 5, though, and to really catapult himself back closer to Turney in the standings. This is a massive points haul on tap for Joe as Sean Butcher takes over third. Lawrence running a little wide out of 1. Turney took a look back over the shoulder to see who it was that just now made a move. There's Paulie, yesterday's runner-up, so close to the win. A hard go at things in the pre-final, not an ideal start at all in the main, and now the driver he battled it out with goes to the lead. JT back up front as we enter the S's. It'll be 6 to go this time by. Gus Lawrence behind him, Butcher, Hodgson, and Jake Drew trying to reel back in the top 4.
Final laps of this year's Winter Nationals here for Pro X30. 6 to go, as Xander said, when they come back to the stripe. And these top 4 drivers are putting on a show right now. Turney, Lawrence, Butcher, and Hodgson.
As they roll down to turn number 1, Butcher now gonna go by his teammate, feeling like he's got a little more momentum. They've got to be wary now. Joe Turney's been waiting this whole race, it feels like, to pull the pin and let it loose. That Alonso kart got its first win with him and with Joe in the seat, I should say, yesterday. Could he double up on the weekend? It's going to be that much tougher with that many karts lined up still behind him as the battle is on for 5th. Drew has been caught, and now Kaminsky battling with him. His teammate through, and Macy Williams into the top 5.
Look at this. Turney getting a little bit of breathing room. That move for Butcher to the inside coming down into 1. allowed Turney to gap just a little bit. He's still running those wide racing lines, not covered at all, not running any kind of defensive line. So Kart length coming down here into turn number 1, maybe Kart length and a half as they work their way out of the corner. Turney's in control right now, but far from being done, I believe. Next group, Williams, Kaminsky, Drew, Moya, and Ramos. And again, Paulie Massimino just 0.8 of a second back on that group last time by. Exactly the same pace. So not up to likely closing in on those, but if they keep battling, that'll give Massimino the chance to get back in.
Yeah, check it out. Keaton Kaminsky now shuffled back behind Drew, has to deal with the number 4 plate of Diego Ramos bearing in on him. Macy Williams getting some separation back to Moya. She's now got a little bit of clear racetrack as Massimino continues the upwards charge. Plenty of real estate out back. Across the line, 4 laps to go. Can Paulie get all the way up to 6th or 5th? Can the battle for the lead open up? It can. Sean Butcher takes over once again through turn 1. Turney, Lawrence Hodgson, all there.
Oh, he sent it big time to the bottom of the racetrack there into turn number 1. They're shaking things up. Turney going to go back to the bottom. That pass in turn number 4 sets it all up. Yeah, Hodgson looking over the shoulder, wondering whether or not Williams is going to be there. They're really embroiled, Xander, I think, in their own battle right now. They're not really thinking of, although Williams looks like she's finally pulled away a little bit from Moya. But I think that battle, Moya, Drew, Kaminsky, Ramos, and eventually Massimino there as well, it's going to keep fighting amongst themselves. This is going to give Macy a chance to potentially come away P5.
We'll see. I mean, this lap at least, 6 through 8 seems to have held station. Ramos got around Kaminsky, but Moya is still pushing feverishly away on Jake Drew. Meanwhile, with 3 to go, Turney's decided now is the time to start defense. Hodgson starting offense now late in the going. He has saved his stuff up, and he's pressuring Lawrence for 3rd. He's got to make quick work of him to not lose touch of Turney and Butcher. Turney, wide arc, and then late lunge down the inside. Just a little bit to cover. Lawrence way low covering for 3rd. Butcher even a little narrow into 5. Sean Butcher, Gus Lawrence, they've watched us make Joe Turney look like an all-star. And I think that has invited the challenge and why we see more and more drivers from his home country wanting to assert themselves as the best here in the United States and North America. We're coming to 2 laps to go. We've got 4 of them together. Pro X30 gearing up for an all-out dogfight. Joe Turney leads it still down to turn number 1.
Lawrence and Hodgson have work to do if they want to get themselves back in the fight right now. You can't win from P4 unless they start the fight up front. Butcher looking good. Sean Butcher trying to see if he can't come away with the victory he wants here on the Pro Tour. Turney's done it many times before. Great to have him back here. Can he come away with a 2-race sweep in the opening rounds of this year's Pro Tour? Looking very strong here. White flag waits for them when they get back around. Look at the gap right now for Turney. Is he finding a little more? How much is left in the tank for Turney? Strong out of turn number 9 over to turn number 10. Xander got to be 3 legs coming down the back straightaway.
This is a nightmare unfolding for the 2nd consecutive race weekend here for Sean Butcher. The last time we saw him, he was 2nd, and the leader ends up getting away. In that case, the motor had an issue and started to skyrocket temps. Right now, it is straight up Joe Turney outpacing everyone. He just ripped a 50.148. That was a blistering time. The only reason he didn't get the fast time honors was Paulie Massimino. A master class once again through turns 2 and 3. It's up to 5 car lengths and counting.
It is full race lines, no defense whatsoever for Joe Turney, the MPG Motorsports driver on the Alonso, looking good out front. No one's going to challenge him coming through the S's now. He looks so good through 6, 7, 8, and 9. He was 3 kart lengths just a lap ago. He has stretched it to 4 or 5. An easy run down the long straightaway from 10 to 11. Talk about a fantastic weekend here in Tucson, Arizona. The Winter Nationals. Back-to-back jacks for Joe Turney as he dominates Pro X30.
Sean Butcher 2nd, Gus Lawrence 3rd, Oliver Hodgson 4th. A valuable points haul for the factory kart driver. Paulie Massimino able to claw his way tooth and nail to get up into the top 10 with the dust settling now into 8th. But Joe Turney and the dominance of his initial Pro Tour campaign once again on full display, and I don't think that was there was a better way to really set the tone going to Cincinnati, Rob, than what he just pulled off right there.
Well, everybody had a shot at him, right? Let's put it that way. Butcher led, Lawrence led, Hodgson was there. The bottom line is he was able to get back, fight back, get back to the front, and again, over the last couple of laps, he is so tough to beat. I said it this morning when I talked about it, when I picked him in the pre-show. He's just a guy that is so hard to beat when the momentum and confidence is there.
So there you go. Joe Turney into the scale lines, doubling up here in Arizona.
Let's go, boy. Good job, brother.
Copy. So Joe Turney, inevitable here in the end. Joe, we'll catch up just here right next to Tech. Seems like you just flipped a switch. Whenever you wanted it to go faster, it went faster. Tell me about it, Joe.
No, not especially. When I first got to the lead, I tried to go and didn't have the speed. And then just seemed like at the end of the race I did. I don't know what it was, but we saw Gus in front couldn't go, Sean couldn't go, I couldn't go at the start as well. And I was trying to pass in places where it could give me a gap, but just nothing. So until the end where the kart was just really good. So yeah, it seemed like it just got better and better, and yeah, super happy.
How good does it feel to go back-to-back this weekend? Again, the only two races that you've started in 2026, and you win them both.
Yeah, super. I mean, like, didn't expect it at all. We've done a super job, I think, this week, and the kart's so quick, so makes my job easy. But yeah, super tough. Like, came right down to the end there like it did yesterday, and just happy to come out on top.
Congrats, Joe. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you there, Joe Turney obviously kind of gave you a little look at it. Everybody trying to be that person that was able to pull away, who was able to go, as he said, who was able to stretch away, and nobody was. They were on top of each other the entire time. Another driver tried it. He led as well. That's Sean Butcher. He stands by right now with Xander.
Thank you, Rob. Sean, I know this one is bittersweet to take, I am sure, leading a ton of laps here today. Talk to me a little bit about what's going through your head right now.
Yeah, obviously a little bit on the disappointed side, but honestly, I can't complain. I've had such a bad run recently. It's nice to get back on the podium.
And talk to me about those last couple laps, but overall the main event, what do you make of it, and what more did you need to end up on the top step today?
To be honest, I think it's my bad that we're not on the top step today. I think had I covered the hairpin, I think 3 laps to go, I think we would have had a really good shot, but yeah, got a little bit too giddy.
Either way, man, good to see a smile on your face. We're happy to have you out here. I know it's been a long 2 weeks being all this far from home. Tell me, who would you like to thank?
I'd love to thank all of the boys at RPG, especially Mike, Joni, my mechanic Aiden, and obviously Alex for the engines as well.
Congratulations, Sean, on the box.
Thank you.
We'll head over to Caleb.
Yeah, thanks, Xander. And Gus, just seems like a frustrating weekend in the end, right? Yesterday, could really never get going. Recovery drive back to third, and today, back in third when, again, it seemed like you were challenging for the win.
Yeah, I think I led a small portion of that race, maybe 5 or 6 laps in the middle. But yeah, the draft is just crazy, right? So yeah, it's just you get a gap and then you can feel the push down the straight, and then you know you're on your bumper. So it's difficult. You just never get a break.
And again, how can you guys build here and try and go faster than Joe in Cincinnati over the summer?
Yeah, again, it's a very different track again. This is quite a fast-flowing track. Cincinnati's got a few more tight and twisty corners, so we'll see when we get there. But no, it's been a tough weekend. Obviously, I've had a lot of drives back through, so that was my first time actually racing at the front, like for the fight for the lead. So, nah, it just needs to improve for next time.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Xander?
down here with Macy Williams. Thank you, Caleb. Macy, we were just talking about this again. After the 2 weeks so far here in Musselman Honda Circuit, you end on a high note, top 5 to close out the day. Talk to me about the main.
Yeah, the main was good. It was super important to get a good start, and finally it kind of swung our way a little bit. The pre-final we didn't have much luck, but in the final it was definitely on our side.
And tell me about what a roller coaster of emotions here over the last 24 hours, right? To be running in the top 5, top 10, challenging yesterday. You end up last into the scales off a DNF, and then you end up with a 5th today. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. Definitely, kind of redeemed myself from yesterday. We kind of showed the speed in the final, and that I belong up front and deserve to be here. And it was an unfortunate way to end the final yesterday, definitely, but it's good to be back up and fighting where I should be.
It's good to see you here on our stop out west as well. You say about being deserving to be here. You certainly did, and proved that again in today's course of sessions. What does the rest of the year look like for you?
To be sure, I don't know really for the go-karting side of things. I have some sprint car stuff lined up, all pavement stuff for me so far this year, but looking to see what we can put together for maybe the rest of this Pro Tour series and see what we can do from there.
And who would you like to thank for making it all happen over these 2 weeks here in the desert?
Definitely Speed Concepts Racing, my family, everybody that helped support me put this all together, my mechanic. Yeah, that's really it.
There you go. Congratulations. Solid run today.
Thank you.
Macy Williams, top 5. A high note here as she heads out of Musselman Honda Circuit.
I'll tell you, Macy Williams, one heck of a driver. I've seen her win here in a 125cc shifter, and that was a fantastic drive. Look at the drivers that she was battling against there. Diego Ramos, Ruben Moya, Paulie Massimino, Keegan Kaminsky, Jake Drew. Says a lot about Macy Williams. A great driver. I'd love to see her on the Pro Tour for the remainder of the year. Otherwise, an asphalt sprint car, why not? Here you have the pre-drop standings for the Pro X30 category. Not surprisingly at all, Joe Turney out front with 610 points. Gus Lawrence back by 115. But again, a strong weekend by Turney could be balanced off by a strong weekend by Gus or Paulie down the line at MCC or Newcastle Motorsports Park. Paulie Massimino, that great run back through the field, ended up coming up into the 8th position with the fast lap of the race. That gave him enough to be able to go P3 in the points right now. Sean Butcher, overall strong weekend for him as well. 200 points back. Jake Drew, Oliver Hodgson. And then the tail end of the top 10, Alexander Vanches, Davin Roberts, Blake Nash, and James Overbeck.
Good recovery drive, at least for James Overbeck, to end up inside the top 10, leaving the desert, considering he was all the way at the tail end of the field coming out of turn number 1.
Finished 19th.
Yeah, how about that? A couple of drives from the back for the BJR crew. Not exactly the high note they wanted to end the weekend on, qualifying inside the top 10 with both drivers, Overbeck out of the slow group. But still, what a great weekend to race in here, Rob.
Listen, all the drivers talk about the fact that this racetrack is a different one as well, right? The shifter car drivers will tell you it's a flowing racetrack, third gear, maybe second gear if you're struggling. But you can't do the diamond corners. It's not about the tight, hard braking, hairpins. It's a different racetrack. And as MCC is with its own character as well. The bottom line is the racing is great. There's a lot of opportunity to overtake, and you simply can't get away. Gus Lawrence said it. You tried it so many times. The draft is so high. This track, Musselman Honda Circuit, is unique. I'm glad we were able to come out here. It's been a lot of East Coast-centric racing on the Pro Tour for the last number of years. But remember, it all started back here 17 years ago at Sonoma Raceway for the Pro Tour. It's been here a couple times in Tucson, and I'm glad we were able to come back for a third time.
Yeah, heck of a West Coast swing here for us, folks. 2 weeks consecutively in the desert. A phenomenal Pro X30 run. We, of course, have heard from our top finishers thus far, our podium results. Joe Turney doubling up on the weekend. Sean Butcher, a solid effort, leading a lot of laps, as did Gus Lawrence, who we heard from there third. Great to see Macy Williams get a top 5. Hopefully we get to see her more, as she mentioned, too. The rest of this year, uncertain. She's got a busy schedule, it sounds like, doing a whole lot. But cool to see her have a good run, especially considering how much speed she's had over these 2 weeks, Rob, because she was exceptionally quick, arguably, from what we could tell, one of the second or third best go-karts to Aiden Ingrata when he doubled up last weekend. And, well, for a home state race for factory karts, the last of our top 5 we haven't heard from yet, Oliver Hodgson now is standing by with Caleb, P4 on the day. Caleb?
Thanks, Xander. Yeah, Oliver, 4th at the end of it, and it seems like you just struggled to get past the boys in pink and blue. Just tell me about that race.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't quite as good as I'd hoped for in that race, so it was kind of a game of trying to see if I could get it to come to me. I had a few corners there where I was just not quite good enough and left me vulnerable in a few spots. And yeah, it was a pretty boring race for me. I thought I really had to, my only hope was to get into second and then get into lead and to start to change the race up. But yeah, today wasn't my day, but I'll make sure it's my day another time.
And again, from a development standpoint, this is the first race of the regular season. What have you guys learned and what are you guys taking to Cincinnati?
Yeah, I think you say development cycle, I think is more just we're in the game and it's close and I came up short, so go repeat the next one. I think I had a really good kart and we never really knew in the final yesterday. I think in the pre-finals on both days I had a fantastic kart. So yeah, just maybe a slight adjustment on how I approach the finals and off we go again.
Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you.
So there you have it. From the outskirts of the Sonoran Desert, the 2026 SKUSA Pro Tour officially underway. Rob, here as we take a look back through all the action on the day with our Coastal Link recap. Kicking things off in the sunshine, that Pro Shifter main event, Mateus Morgado. Took him about the first third of the race to get to the lead, and he didn't let it out of his hands once he got there.
Yeah, it was a battle behind it, wasn't it? All these drivers throwing it in. Of course, as we know, Martin Kremers had to fight it out big time. But yeah, it was just a big day for Mateus Morgado. And hey, his teammate as well, Renadin. What a huge day for Velocity Racing in Sodi.
And beyond that, of course, the day then continued. KA Master Phil DeLeo, phenomenal performance here on both days of action. And a big-time barn burner fight in KA Junior. So many close calls in this final turn, but how about that move that eventually ended up being for the race win? Well, one of the moves that truly sealed it there, along with that run at the last turn for Ashton Woon. And a couple of hairy moments through the day as well, certainly in the Micro Swift category, delivering with some action that really caught us off guard midway through the race.
Man, turn 11 was so much fun to watch. That was that pass in turn number 9. We hadn't seen a lot of those. Nico Katowski throwing it in there as well. But as you know, when we go pro X30 racing and KA100 senior racing, Xander, bets are off. Paulie Massimino, again, super strong in the KA category, but it was Moya today who was able to come to the forefront.
He'll lead the points, and of course, that'll be a lot of the storylines as we talk about going into rounds 3 and 4 at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. A near 2-month and some change delay for all of us, nearly 3 months in total until we get to mid-June and head to the beautiful countryside of Batavia, Ohio. But for Rob Howden, for Caleb Vieska, for our phenomenal production and camera ops team that have kept you in the know of all that's been going down amongst the 270-plus drivers in attendance, the incredible SKUSA officials and the Musselman Honda Circuit for welcoming us and this traveling circus for the last 2 weekends of activity. Myself, Xander Clemens, and the rest of our crew, we thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed all of the coverage from Musselman Honda Circuit and from Tucson, Arizona. For the final time, we get to say goodbye, but it's goodbye for now. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more coverage and the national season continuing here live for all the action on Kart Chaser and more post-race activity as well following this.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make way. Okay, you're good.
I'm sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the f*** did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.